Hey guys, quick reminder before we get started that the world's largest arena for sports and collectibles is back in New York City this summer. Catch the return of Fanatics Fest from June 20th to the 22nd in the Javits Center, where you can share the floor with the biggest names in sports. That means appearances by over 500 iconic athletes and celebrities from your favorite teams like the Knicks, Mets, Yankees, the Giants, plus live panels and podcasts, exclusive merch collabs, and a trading card area with 200 of the biggest dealers in the biz, and so much more. Get your tickets today. Use the link in the description. It's from your friends here at Knicks Film School, from our friends over at Fanatics. It's 20% off. Use promo code Knicks Film School 20, and that offer is good. It's been extended just for you. It's good until June 4th. Again, that's Knicks Film School 20 for 20% off. You can get a 3-day pass over the weekend or a single-day admission on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. When the world's greatest athletes are in New York City, don't miss it.
Welcome to the Knicks Film School Postgame Show, presented by Fanatics Sportsbook, where I say, not today, my friends.
Not today!
Not today. I don't know about Saturday, but not today. Oh, man. Oh, Benji, I'm happy they won this game. Let's just start right there. I'm happy they won this game. I was really thinking about just this season a lot over the last 24, 48 hours since the Game 4 loss, and how I was feeling a certain type of way, and about how these conference finals had really kind of had me down to the point where I was, and then I had to like re-examine myself. I'm like, man, this team has given us so much though over this postseason run. For as frustrating as they were in the regular season, they've given us the sorts of wins where you could make be a team that makes a conference finals and not have even one or two of the wins that they've had, like, I don't know, 5 of 6 of, so like a goodly number to get to this point. And I'm like, I'm not being fair. I need to get up for this. I mean, 3-1 is not 3-0, it's 3-1. Teams have done it before. And that's kind of where I was going into tonight. And I did my best. And, maybe it's a bit of a defense mechanism. And that's why I refused. I had a tough time getting up, because this team has, I feel like I'm on a therapist couch, but they've hurt us before. And I did not want to get hurt again. But here we are. And we get to talk about a win that I don't know how you felt, Benji. This entire game felt like the lead was about 5 points. I've never in my life experienced a game where from I guess the middle of the second quarter on, they never got it below a double-digit lead, did they? I'm looking here.
No, I don't believe so.
I don't believe they did either. Maybe late in the second. Maybe actually when the starters went back in, because they needed to get it back up to an 11-point lead, because it was 14, and then
I thought you were saying second half. Yeah, second.
Sorry,
quarter
from the middle of the second quarter on.
Yep,
From the middle of the second quarter on, I think it briefly maybe got down to 7, but then they got it back up over double digits in the second half and never got below double digits. But we were sitting here, and there were stretches of this game in the second half where it was a 12-point lead, a 14-point lead, a 16-point lead. And it felt like, oh my God, if the Pacers score consecutive baskets, we're dead in the water. And I don't know if that's more a credit to the Pacers or that's more Knicks fan PTSD, but that's how I felt watching this game. And that's kind of where I want to start before we get into some of the individual performances and some of the schematic stuff that maybe led to this win. So how did you take in this game?
It felt like the Knicks improved leaps and bounds in terms of effort and in terms of intensity. It did not feel like the Knicks improved in leaps and bounds in terms of intelligence and decision making. And that's where I think it always felt precarious, because they were 2 turnovers in a row away from another run. They played great from a effort and intensity standpoint. There was a lot to be desired still in terms of their collective decision making. And so that's where I think the feeling came, where there was frustration despite, to your point, basically a double-digit lead for the majority of 3 quarters of the second, third, fourth quarters. So they played a really great game. Defensively, It was by far their best. I thought, I want to give a huge shout out to Jalen Brunson, who I think we all challenged to say, hey, you're never going to be Drew Holiday out there.
Yep.
But if you're going to show and recover, then freaking show and recover. And if you're going to switch, then hold up. And he did. And he just did. It was just much better execution of the defensive game plan. And he was much better from an intensity standpoint. So credit to him.
Stop here for a second, because I think that's such a key point. Was this, in your opinion, the best defensive game from Brunson in this series?
Oh, yeah. No question.
You didn't even think about it. Okay.
No question about it.
Okay.
And it's simple. And it's, it's simple stuff. It's just like, if you're hedging and recovering, and you can't hug your defender and just be an extra screener for Bridges, which happened 6-7 times in game 4, like, you have to actually get out there. And it's not just because Haliburton knows how to get through it, but now you're cleared out of the way and Bridges actually has an angle to get back to Haliburton. And in terms of Bridges, it's not Nesmith hounding Brunson up the court. It will never be. That's not who he is as a defender. But we saw, at least, he's up there with him full court. He's at least making him think about it. He's taking steps towards Haliburton over the course of this game, whereas prior to that in this series, it felt like he was always backtracking, and Hallie could just observe the floor with no impediments, and Bridges has to be at least an impediment. So I thought he was significantly better. I didn't think he was like great. I don't think the reason Haliburton didn't shoot the ball was because Bridges was like exceptionally good defensively. But he was much better. The reason Haliburton took so few shots is because the communication was so much better. And you didn't have 2 guys leaving Haliburton, so Haliburton could just shoot an open 3 at any point in this game. It was consistently, we have one body on him. We're switching when we're switching. We're communicating go screens when they're go screens. They did such a good job tonight of just staying out of the blender by being solid in their communication, so that early actions weren't major breakdowns. We saw the Pacers score mostly end of shot clock, either a beat at times where the Knicks were rotation short or got back cut late, but it wasn't first action. And when you allow Indiana to kill you in first action offense, you have no chance. You force them to be shot makers late in the clock and make one final play. That's where the Knicks want to be from a pace standpoint, and just from a defensive attitude standpoint, it was much better.
And I got to tell you, I don't know how you felt watching the game. I'm looking it up right now. So the Pacers finished this game. They only shot 33% from 3. They only shot 40.5% from the field. Up until middle, maybe end of the third quarter, it felt like every time the Pacers had a good look from 3, they hit it. I felt like they were all going down. And I thought the Knicks, on the flip side, had some good looks from 3, good open looks from 3 that were not going down. And we'll get to that. We'll get to some of the shooting. And I actually think that's a reason to feel positive going into game 6. But I want to stick on this for a second first, because so they gave up, 94 points. I'm about to look up. Actually, I don't know if Cleaning the Glass is going to have it right now, but like, what we can say in terms of the half-court defense, the Knicks did turn the ball over 15 times. The Pacers got 20 points off of those 15 turnovers. Pacers turned it over 20 times. Knicks only got 15 points over the 20 turnovers. That speaks to the lack of collective intelligence that you were talking about, which continues to rear its head in this series. Again, we'll talk about that in a bit. But 15 fast break points for the Pacers overall. Again, 20 off of the turnovers. I think when you look at the final point total that they had of 94 points, you have to feel good about where the Knicks half-court defense was in this game, right?
100%. He felt great about the way. Yeah, I mean, and it was, I think, everybody involved. You want to talk about OG Anunoby. Some of his help rotations in the second half in particular were outrageously good. It was a poor offensive showing from him. He didn't shoot the ball well. If he makes a couple more threes in this game, he puts it away even earlier. But defensively, as a rotator, now they didn't really put him on Haliburton. I thought that might be the pivot in this game.
We saw, but didn't we kind of like a few possessions? He was
when Bridges was out at the end of the first half. Then OG had the assignment. Once Bridges came back in, it was Bridges again. But and I thought when OG was on him, he did great. Like I do want to see more of that.
Yeah.
But putting him on Nembhard is helpful in the sense that he is right now. I mean, he is their lowest scoring starter. Although he's dangerous at times, he's had a really rough series offensively. It allows OG to be in the lanes as a helper, and there were a couple of rotations in that game's fourth quarter that were just nuts. Just like flying in on, it looks like an easy layup for Siakam, and there's OG flying in for a half a block. And then you look at the bench guys, John. Like,
well, let's save the bench for a second. Let's save the bench for 1 second. I want to ask you one simple question. Do you think that there is a chance that what the Knicks were able to accomplish defensively tonight was a product of like, all right, we've seen this now four times over the course of the last week. Could they be getting used to it more? As Benjy's frozen for me. I don't know if he's frozen for everybody else. Hopefully he comes back.
Do you hear me? Do you hear me at least?
Benjy, you there, Benj? There you are.
I'm here. I don't know. I feel fine where I am, but
okay, good.
Functioning fine. Do you hear me?
Yeah, no, I got you now. Do you think that maybe they figured some stuff out?
It's funny. I thought they figured some stuff out second half of game 3. And I think a lot of it just depends on each team coming into games, imposing a new kind of will, a new kind of force, right? And I thought Indy came out in game 4 with such insane pace and energy, feeding off their crowd, in fairness, but such insane pace and energy that the Knicks just could never find traction in the half court defensively when they even got to be in the half court. Like they were on their heels from tip. Tonight, the Knicks came out with that kind of force, and Indy never quite got into there. So look, game 6 comes around back in Indy. I anticipate that Indy's going to come out flying.
Yeah.
Insisting on pushing on makes, misses, everything. The Knicks need to be ready for that. The question now for me is, can they find traction at some point in the game? Like you have to be able to buckle down at some point, ride the wave. Indy's going to go on runs in their home on their home court. They just are. They're really explosive offensively. That crowd gets them going. You need to be able to sustain. I can't imagine it's going to go like this, John. Like I don't see Indiana scoring 94 points in game 6. But you have to take punches, sustain, find pockets of stops. Don't give up 3, 4, 5 straight buckets. Like find your stops where you can find them and then go on runs yourselves. That to me is the key. So I think the Knicks have found defensive traction at points in this series. Like it hasn't been all bad. This was the best performance 48 minutes wise defensively. Again, I don't think they're going to match this performance in game 6. I think they're capable though of slowing Indiana enough the way the offense is operating.
Before we move on from Brunson, maybe sphincters were tight in this game for the Knicks at the beginning. We wouldn't know it though, because right out of the gate, Brunson put the team on his back. And I think, look, Brunson's gotten gotten some flack over the last few years for like being a little bit too call his own number, at times. I thought tonight was the night he needed to come out and do exactly what he did, which was like, I got you. We're going to get out on the right foot, and it's going to be on my shoulders. Started out 5 of 6 from the field. Actually, 6 of 7 from the field. Had 14 of the Knicks' first 25 points. I don't want to say that that's going to get lost because there's other stuff that we're going to talk about. Particularly, we already talked about the defense. That was just so massive to me right out of the gate.
Yeah, I'm just grateful, John, that there's not 2 days in between games, because after all of these games, like the conversations get so out of control. The more time you give it to breathe, the worse the conversations get. Yes. Jalen Brunson is great. They don't have an answer for him. They just don't. I appreciate SVG is shouting out Neesmith's screen navigation, which is great. I'm not saying it's not great, and he is their best defender on Brunson by a gazillion. Can't stop him. He just can't. He doesn't have the body, the physicality to really deal with Jalen Brunson the way some defenders sometimes can. And frankly, there aren't that many of them. I mean, I thought the biggest stretch for Jalen, though, and the announcers, to their credit, were all over this, is when Towns picks up his fourth idiotic foul. And the announcers are going, look, Jalen Brunson, it's just the Indiana Pacers upped their pressure a ton. It felt like anybody else handling the ball was struggling to handle the ball. And Brunson was like, all right, I'm just going to do my thing where I'm just going to keep pounding the ball until I get an inch of advantage. I'm going to drive and I'm going to score. And he did it, 3 times in that stretch to kind of sustain that double-digit lead, keep it at around 16, 18, never got down to 10.
Well, it did.
Huge, massive stretch.
It got down to 74-64. And then so that was, 74-64. Hakamich 0 for 2 from the line. Precious Achiuwa in that next stretch. Jalen Brunson bucket. Jalen Brunson draws offensive foul. I think it was Jalen Brunson hit Mikal Bridges for a nice little mid-range make. I actually want to go look that up if that was Brunson on the assist there. I feel like it was. And then the biggest play of the game, in my opinion, Jalen Brunson fouled by Obi Toppin on the 3-point shot, makes the free throw, 8-0 run Knicks. Momentum gone, 82-64. And then for good measure, you want to give me a Gesundheit?
Gesundheit!
Precious Achiuwa builds it back up to a 20-point lead. What a nice dish from Mikal Bridges, by the way. It was a good pass.
Man, you talk about a team that was criticized for being 7 deep.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got here exactly.
Now we can talk about the bench.
I just don't know how we got here where they played 10 tonight.
New York Knickerbockers.
Hart, Deuce, Shamet, Wright, Achiuwa, 10.
So, 10, and then Huck Porty got a minute at the end.
Nah, it doesn't count. 10. Okay. They played 10 tonight, and every single one of those players, and it's legitimate. Every one of those players contributed positively.
Oh, Hart assisted that. Hart assisted that Bridges midi. So it was a nice pass by Hart. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, just like it was such a team win in that sense. Like every single player came in and did a great job. I mean, some like Shamet was. You cannot ask Landry Shamet to play any better than that.
You want to have the Shamet conversation right now?
I think I gave him an A+.
You did.
He deserved because my feeling was like, what could Landry Shamet have done better in this game? He missed one shot. Okay, like that's gonna happen. He caused like 4 turnovers. He switched on to Pascal Siakam in the first half and got a stop and a turnover. He was guarded Haliburton and got a stop and a turnover. Like he was amazing, and his peskiness is playing in this series. There aren't a lot of guys who can kind of overpower him. And when he gets out there, he is doing a phenomenal job defensively, being pesky and annoying and a gnat, and he's making threes. I am shocked, John. You know how I feel about Landry Shamet. Not much. And here he is.
So, draws a key offensive foul.
Unreal.
In the first half.
Second straight game he did that. Or whatever, second straight win.
Has the defensive stand against Siakam in the first half. And then in the fourth quarter, gets switched on to Miles.
That's right, Miles Turner.
7-foot Miles Turner, and holds up on that switch. After, by the way, he hit the first basket of the quarter when, again, sphincters felt a little tight and it
on
counted
a step back. On a step back.
It counted as a 2. I thought it was a 3 in the moment. And then, finally, TJ McConnell beats the Knicks like they're his redheaded stepchild for years here. And Landry Shamet D's him up, makes him lose the freaking ball out of bounds. It was a highlight of the game for me.
Unreal. Yeah, they've done a much better job on McConnell. I know he's still getting his buckets, but just like making sure we're going under. You know, you talk about Indiana's 3-point shooting, by the way. which was in the end bad. But like at the same time, McConnell makes a 3. Jarris Walker comes in and makes 2 threes. Not that he's a bad shooter, but you just don't expect a guy to come in for the first time in the series and just make 2 threes.
2 for
he
4,
makes
Walker.
2, and Mathurin made it at least 2.
I'm looking at it right now. Mathurin 2 for 4, McConnell 1 for 2, Walker 2 for 4, Ben Shepherd 2 for 2.
Yeah.
Haliburton only took 2. He missed both. Nembhard only took 1. He missed it. Turner 1 for 2. Siakam 1 for 3. I know it feels like he's hit everything. And then the only guy who you look at and you're like, okay, that was a substandard 3-point shooting performance. Excuse me, I forgot about Obi Toppin. That was a comment on the broadcast. Who said maybe a little bit too much Obi Toppin tonight? Was that Stan?
I think it was Stan, yeah.
I think it was Stan. Obi Toppin 0 for 4 from deep. And then Nesmith. Nesmith won 1 of 5.
Yeah, he owes us one, so I don't care. I'm just saying I did not, again, like after game 3 with the 5 for 25, I did not think Indiana missed a ton of great looks tonight. I actually thought the Knicks missed more great 3-point looks than Indiana did, which tells you how the defense was working, because I thought the Knicks were generating better threes, which has not been the case for most of the series. And the rotations were just better, and the breakdowns were fewer and far between. And you didn't get great looks, I didn't think, for their best shooters. So that was a good job.
Speaking of those Knicks missed threes, I remember early for a while this season, because I was getting annoyed very early in the year, where people were like, well, when the Knicks, don't hit threes, they can't win. They're too dependent on hitting threes. And I'm like, you know what? I actually don't think that's the case. And then I started tracking that stat, and I remember we texted about it like throughout the year, where how many games that they won in which they shot and in which they made, I think it was a third or less, or maybe under a third, whatever it was, something like that. Like not a lot of their threes. And I think I forget when they surpassed last year's total, but it was in like January.
Yeah.
It was early. And I was like, you know what? This team, like, give them credit. They don't actually need to shoot the 3 well to win. And tonight, wouldn't you know it, 27.6%, 8 of 29. Benji, you want to, off the top of your head, without trying to add it up in your head, non-Brunson Knicks, what do you think they shot from deep tonight?
Oh, God. Let's say 4 for 19.
You got the first number right. 4 for 22.
Wow, that was actually a really good guess.
That was a very good guess. Mikal Bridges 0 for 3. Off the top of my head, I liked those. I liked the looks that Bridges got. OG Anunoby 1 for 7 from 3. Again,
great looks. OG had great looks.
They all felt good. Towns had 4 looks from 3. He made 1, and I feel the one he made was, I can't remember, when was the 1-3 that Towns made?
That was a quick release from the left wing, if I recall.
Yes, it was, and it was big in the moment, actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
But he missed the one off an offensive rebound, which I don't think he's missed all year. Like a direct kick out top of the key.
Yep.
I really don't. I'd never see him miss that shot. He just missed the front rim. Yeah.
So he was 1 of 4. McBride made his only 3. That's important. Hart 0 for 2. DeLon Wright 0 for 3. I'm not sure I needed any of those 5 shot attempts in my life. And then Landry Shamet 1 for 2. Like you said, he only missed 1.
Man, DeLon got great looks too, wide open. I mean, a suspect shooter, so it is what it is. But
yeah,
man, yeah, they could have they had opportunities to push this to 25 at various points just by making some shots and never did. But to their credit, they played good enough defense so it didn't hurt them.
Again, I think that should make us feel good heading into Saturday night rather than bad. Let's talk about the centers, because I don't think either center will be maybe a leading story from this game. Although, I always say at least, game to game, individual game plus minus, oftentimes is not really worth much of anything. The paper it's printed on. I did think that Karl Anthony Towns being a plus 26 in this game was representative of his impact. Do you agree with that?
Oh yeah. And it was just like it's been the case all year, John, right? Like that beginning of the second quarter when He kind of he plays a little bit of a side role for the first quarter. Brunson runs the show. This has been the rhythm all year. This is not new. Like Brunson
You
runs the
tweeted
show in the
it.
first.
Say what your tweet was, which was
It's the beginning of the second. Towns comes in and he goes on these runs. That is when he puts his imprint on the game, and he does it consistently. And he's done it in the playoffs, and he did it in the regular season. He plays with a bench squad that prioritizes him in the offense, and he takes over games. And it's been the best lineups the Knicks have played all year have been those lineups that start those second quarters. Like that is where they really took the lead, and from there they controlled the game. So Towns' stretch to start the second quarter, I don't know how much he had. He had like 10 or 12 in the first like 5-6 minutes of that second quarter, and I just thought it really turned the game, and he has done that all year.
oh wait, let me go to, here we go. All right, so Towns in the second quarter ended up with 12 points on 5 of 7 from the field. He had an assist. He had 7 rebounds in
beastly
the
on the board
quarter
today
alone, and
Yeah.
2 of 2 from the free throw line. And then and I thought, so defensively, I thought Towns with look, there's always going to be a few. Overall, though, you signed for that Karl-Anthony Towns defensive game 10 out of 10 times, I think.
Absolutely. Look, the fouls are what they are. I don't know what there is to say. It's plagued him his whole career. It is what it is. He is who he is. I don't know. So I'm going to stop there. Just unbelievable stuff.
Yes.
But yeah, solid defensively. Just like, well, I don't honestly, I can't think of a ton of switches onto Haliburton. Like, I don't know if they, I think they,
in the fourth, and Haliburton got a
layup out of it.
Well, but I think he missed it.
He definitely made a layup on a Town switch in the second half. I don't remember if it was the third or fourth quarter, but like, regardless, he wasn't exposed as much. I don't know if they picked on him less. It'd be interesting to see the data as to how many screens they ran with him. But again, because Bridges stayed more connected and because Brunson wasn't getting in the way, even when they ran those double drag screens, which have killed the Knicks this series, it never ended up with like Haliburton easily turning the corner into a layup. Like they were just more sound, and that was 1 through 5. And I thought Cat also was just more solid in coverage and communication, staying high and making sure he wasn't in a terrible drop, etc.
Yeah. And then the other center. Look, you look at the numbers, quiet game from Mitchell Robinson. Only played 20 minutes, 6 points. He was only a +3 in those 20 minutes. Only 1 offensive rebound, as I think the Pacers continue to prioritize not allowing Mitchell Robinson to beat them on the offensive glass. We got a Brunson game. We got a nice Towns game. We got a Shamet game. The defensive performance overall. Let it not go unnoticed that for about a 2-3 minute stretch in the third quarter, Mitchell Robinson took over the basketball game. So the block on Haliburton, then forcing the turnover, then had the next time down the floor, another spectacular defensive possession in which he was, if I recall correctly, he was like showing high. He was like putting a lot of pressure on the ball that next defensive possession.
Yep.
And then after some silliness, a big block of Thomas Bryant at the rim when it was weird because it was an 18-point game at that moment. But
and by the way, John, a block that just they're you can count on your fingers how many people can make that block. He was so far away from Bryant when he caught that ball. That's a dunk. And just what makes it sounds silly, but what makes him special is he is one of the most giant humans in the world, and he can cover ground that just nobody else can cover at times. That block is ridiculous. Nobody can make that block. Yeah. Amazing play.
Insane. And actually, sorry, it was when it was a 16-point lead, and then I forget what happened down the court, but it went to 70.
He got a steal. He deflected a ball when the Pacers were in transition during that stretch as well.
Oh, yes, you're right. Oh, my God. Yes. It was an insane
a total takeover. And like, when we talk about ball pressure, we think often about the point of attack on Haliburton, and that is important, and it was improved tonight. But ball pressure is everywhere. And if you make every handoff action difficult so that Haliburton can't just come around Turner and take the ball from him and then prance and do his thing, changes a whole possession. And how many times was Mitch draped over Turner at the top of the key to disallow any easy handoff, no vision, couldn't make a play out of it? That's the stuff that wrecks possessions. And every time you do that, you get the Pacers out of rhythm. And that's the stuff I mean. Like it wasn't a huge schematic shift by the Knicks, although Brunson, I thought, was just more active in his hedge and recover and switched a little bit more at times. It was more just like we're upping everything, literally upping where we are on the floor. Defenders move up, get in the backcourt. Bigs get up on your screeners. Just everybody amp up the pressure so that the Pacers can never get into a rhythm. I thought that was like the Mitch stuff on Turner is such a great example of that.
Yeah. And look, of the Pacers' 20 turnovers, how many of them were like quote unquote forced? Enough to make me feel comfortable about the defensive performance. And speaking of the two bigs, the starting lineup tonight, which a lot of people questioned coming into this game, whether Tibbs should stick with it, whether Tibbs should maybe put Deuce in the starting lineup instead of Mitch. I mean, there was, I think, the basketball sage, Magic Johnson, suggested going back to Josh Hart. It was a plus 18 in 13 minutes and 13 seconds, outscored the Pacers 39-21 in those 13 minutes. So, look, I mean,
and John, that's without the obvious advantage even manifesting. Like they didn't offensive rebound. Like Mitch had one offensive rebound on the game.
Yeah.
So it was just like defensively they were great, and offensively Brunson did his freaking thing. And that's pretty much what happened, right?
No, and to me, it sounds crazy to say, but the best reason to bring Mitchell Robinson into the starting lineup is to get the best offense out of Brunson, because the numbers the entire postseason have shown Jalen Brunson is better on the offensive end. He has a better offensive impact when he has Mitch screening for him. Again, it's wild that we're here, but this is where we are.
Yeah. And it's that, and it's getting Cat off of Turner, and I think that's been super beneficial. And I think as much as Siakam can expose him at times, generally speaking, Cat has kind of held his own in that matchup, forcing him into mid-range jump shots that he might make. But what really hurts you with Siakam, A, is the leak outs that he's killing the Knicks with, and the Knicks need to do a better job getting back to him. But B, it's the seals and the easy jump hooks over smalls that's been killing them. Cat obviously isn't going to concede those. So he's done a good job there. And yeah, Mitch has kind of stabilized both ends with his screening on offense and then the rim protection defensively.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then so talked about the wing, or the starting wings at least. Could we have want to talk about Josh Hart before we?
Yeah, let's talk about Joshua.
What would you like to say about Joshua, Benjamin?
Well, if there were two things that I was really disappointed with in game 4, it was the turnovers and the back cuts. And both things happened tonight. Again, multiple times. So that's not great. But a couple of massive rebounds on both ends.
Yeah.
That didn't always pan out into shots, but like were classic Josh Hart offensive rebounds and defensive rebounds.
Couple of steals,
a big one on McConnell, a great strip when again Indiana started gaining some momentum. And then look, like, I don't know how long I've been talking about this. I don't know when the Indiana Pacers became Duncan and Robinson down there, but the Knicks wings seem to think that Turner and Siakam are Samson and Olajuwon.
I was about to say Samson and Olajuwon, the other one. You could go
the Giannis Wemby pairing that's about to happen.
There you go.
Like, I don't understand why they're passing out of these drives as if they're facing the best. Now, Miles Turner's a really good rim protector. Pascal Siakam's long. I don't want to diminish how good those guys are. But the Pacers' rim protection should not be this presence that is forcing these outrageous passes out of drives or out of drives into mid-range jump shots if you're Mikal Bridges. And finally, in the fourth quarter, Hart's like, oh, I can just go up and freaking finish. And it's like, dude, just go up and finish. What are you so scared of? And once they start doing that, it'll be better for everybody. And they'll start drawing some freaking fouls and they'll finish some layups. So I just think he needs to like rejigger his mind. I know he wants to be a playmaker. He sees himself as the Draymond of this team and he likes to play that way.
Yeah.
But he's got to just go up and finish the way he was first half of the season.
The kick out or the attempted kick out. With Bridges attempted to go to Bridges in the corner. It felt like he was 4 feet from the basket and there was nobody around.
And by the way, Indiana is ready for that. They've picked that pass off from multiple Knicks. They picked it off from Deuce in game 4 and Hart in game 4. When they blitz Brunson or two guys get to Brunson and he hits the pocket, the wing defender is crashing hard to the corner. Every time. Obi got 2 steals like that in game 4. Like, you have to recognize that that's what Indiana is selling out on, and it's either go finish or wait for the guy to get to the corner and go to the wing. But you have to understand that's Indiana's scheme, is they're crashing from that wing to the corner. They know the Knicks are better corner 3-point shooters than they are wing 3-point shooters. They're playing it that way. You got to be a step ahead. But most importantly, just go to the rim.
I think overall you got a good game from Bridges. You got a okay game from Anunoby only because, as you said, he was really good defensively. But you got a very poor shooting game from OG Anunoby. And you got a very uneven, if I'm going to be polite, game from Josh Hart. And with some stuff that, like, really, it just, those mistakes felt big they felt outsized. They felt like they were just very more important than they maybe should have been. But that's, just we were both watching the same game, and like every one of those, it's just like, it's like, this is why we're going to lose this freaking game because of this nonsense. My point is, they overcame what was, again, at best, overall, an okay to maybe slightly better than okay game from your third, fourth, and fifth best players. I got to think that's a good sign. Look, who the hell knows what's going to happen in game 6? Maybe they get their doors blown off in game 6. I don't know. But I think I'm taking it as a good sign.
Yeah, no, it is a good sign. And I think the bedrock is that your 2 stars have been stars all series long, pretty much. I know Brunson had one rotten game, but yeah, the Pacers don't have an answer for either of them. That was always the biggest advantage for the Knicks in the series. Is like, we could talk about how Haliburton has had his way with Bridges at times. The Knicks have options there. They haven't used all of them, but they have options there in terms of how to cover Haliburton. The Pacers do not have anything to throw at Karl-Anthony Towns and even Jalen Brunson. And it's like,
well, they could double. The Shepherd steal on Cat.
Okay, so that's the next step. Now, in the first half, Cat actually found Deuce for a 3, just one pass away out of the double. Yep. He's got to recognize they don't come from the baseline. This is something that in our pre-series pod with Caitlin pointed out, like, when the Pacers double, they do not double from the baseline. They double from the top. Shouldn't be a surprise to Karl-Anthony Towns, considering that's what they do. And because now Siakam's guarding him a lot, they are sending the double. Now the Knicks need to translate that help into open shots. They did it in the first half for Deuce,
and hit them.
Shepherd gets the steal in the second half. So, that's something that considering how Towns has had his way, I would anticipate, and Towns should anticipate those doubles better in game 6 because they are coming.
Yep. But no, to your point, like, you just verbalized why, if the Knicks do lose the series, it's going to be insanely frustrating, because when you have not one but 2 guys that the other team can't really stop, you would think that you should win the series. And we're not going to go back and rehash tonight to celebrate a win. Look, the Knicks just doubled their total number of conference finals victories over the last 25 years. It's a good night.
John, who's the one man that can stop Karl Anthony Towns? There's only one man.
Well, sees him every day when he wakes up to brush his teeth and shave and whatever else he does.
The one. Oh man, were you not rolling when they? I was cracking up when SVG was like, "His knee seems fine on offense." He's great. It was actually comical to watch. The guy looks like he's going to limp off the court, and then grabs an offensive board and finishes on the same possession. I was dying. SVG was all over that one.
He's one of one.
We've talked about
it. There's nobody else like him in the. I mean, I don't know that there's been 5 players like him throughout the history of the NBA. Because you have to factor in the talent and then the stuff that drives you crazy. Look, would it be nice if the Knicks were a win away from their first finals in 26 years? Yeah, it would be nice, but they're not. They put themselves in this position. I think putting aside game 1, I think that they will rue game 2 far more than game 4. Although, no, I think they will rue game 2 far more than game 4. But look, it is what it is. But then again, look, you got game 3, and game 3, should that have happened? But maybe, I don't know. I feel bad talking about this. I really do want to just focus on the moment. But let me just ask you very briefly: does game 3 for you? Do you look at that as it made up for game 2? Do you look at it like it made up for game 1? Can nothing make up for game 1? How are you assessing the series as a whole, or are you not even doing that?
I think about game 1 every day for multiple hours. I don't think no game is like game 1. Game 2 is not game 3. Knicks comeback does not equal game 1. Just look at the statistics. It never happened before in the history of the game. There's nothing to say. They should be up 3-2, and it stinks. But this is the Knicks team we know, man. They don't make it easy, and they still got a shot in this thing. They still got a shot in this thing, and that is great. And it was a really, really solid, prideful performance that fans should enjoy. That was a really great performance by this team, even when not everyone had their best stuff. To your point, John, they didn't, and they had a double-digit lead for the last 3 quarters. Essentially, that's a big deal. And Haliburton had nothing, and he's gonna have something game 6. I'm telling you. And you're going to have to take some punches. But this team, if we've learned anything from them at all, if there's anything good to say about this basketball team, I think there are a lot of good things. But if there's one defining thing to say, they can take punches. They can take punches and they can come back. And they're going to have to do that in game 6 to bring it back to the Garden.
Look, they're one of the last 3 teams standing. Say what you want. Say what you want about how good the West is. You want to tell me Denver was better than... What's that?
Win the trade now since we're in it for 1 extra game?
Man, we'll be talking about that trade for a very long time.
I think
talk to me all you want about the West being great, but the Minnesota Timberwolves, for as good as the Minnesota Timberwolves, they've been very good all season. Looked good beating the Lakers. Looked really good beating who the hell they beat in round 2?
The Warriors.
Ah, that's right. A weird Warriors team. Look, they went out. I know. Look, who did they go out against? They went out against a team that, for all we know, is going to romp to the 2025 NBA title. And at this point, I would be mildly surprised if they did not romp to the 2025 NBA title. But look, one of the last 3 teams standing. Something to be proud of if you're the Knicks. It's something if you're a Knicks fan. Again. I get it. There's been a lot of negativity over the last week. I understand. I because I feel it too. I'm not gonna. I could sit here and I could lie to you. I'm not gonna do that. I felt it. But you're down 3-2. You're a win away from going to a freaking game 7 at Madison Square Garden. There are worse spots to be, and that is basically all I have to say about that. Any last thoughts from you, Benji, before we move on to our next segment, betting and sweating?
I'm trying to think if I should call out my friend. I have a good friend.
Call him out. Yes.
Call him out. who's a massive Knicks fan. His name is Jason Sugarman. Lovely guy. Lovely guy. I dropped his name. And he put in a chat with me and a friend, Knicks fans for a long time. At one point, now it was at a low point, I believe, during game 4, but he uttered the words, "I wish we would have lost to Boston." And I just will never, ever, ever, for the rest of my life, let him live that down, to the point where I am now announcing it to over 4,000 people watching live and all the people that will watch on YouTube and podcast later. So sorry, Jason. But man, like, that is nonsense. That is the most nonsensical. And Jason's not the only one. I've seen it on the internet. I've seen it on Twitter. That is loser behavior and attitude. It just is. That series was amazing. And they're in game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals. That is a tremendous accomplishment. Doesn't mean there isn't what to be upset about. Doesn't mean that if they lose game 6, there aren't things to talk about in terms of what this team is and isn't. But recognize the accomplishment. It's been an amazing playoff run. Not easy, not simple, but amazing. A lot of great moments. This was a great night. Enjoy it.
And hey, how about this? Before they bow, maybe they'll never bow out. Maybe we'll be celebrating a championship parade in a month or whatever it is. But if they do bow out at some point, before they did, I think and I don't look, we'll see what happens the rest of the series and so on and so forth. They just played a game on defense where they showed you, hey, we can survive with Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns on the floor together against a real offense. A real offense. It doesn't get much tougher to guard than this Pacers team. Are they the best offense in the league? But it's what they require of you and their ability to hone in on every weak spot you have. I just think it's unrivaled in the league. And they held up tonight. Those two guys together on the floor held up tonight. And to me, if I am going a little bit beyond this series and I'm trying to take big picture takeaways, I think that's maybe the top one that I take.
Yeah. Improvement is a funny thing because there are a lot, like in life, in basketball game, there are 100 different elements of a game that you could get better at.
Yeah.
And it's like in any self-improvement book, if you're religious, if you're whatever, like whatever mode of improvement you're looking to make in your life, the best thing you can do is just find one thing. You can't correct everything at once. It's impossible. Nobody can. In basketball and life. Like, for all those guys, especially like defensively, to just say, all right, hey, I'm Mikal Bridges. I got to be up a little bit. It wasn't perfect, but it was better. And then those two guys, you know how you survive? You just get a little better in your coverages. Show and recover means show and recover. It doesn't mean hug your defender, right? For Cat, actually be in a stance and contain a little bit better. It goes a long way, man. Like just a little more stance, effort, energy, attention goes a long way. Like those little improvements by every guy on the floor changed the whole defensive outlook. That's the beauty of it. And I just thought it was such a workmanlike, solid defensive effort against a team. If you don't do those things, if you're a little bit lazy, if you're a little bit non-communicative, it breaks down so fast and they're on a 12-0 run. And they just never allowed that to happen. Massive credit to each of those guys for just improving a little bit, doing their jobs a little bit better, made all the difference.
I'll leave you with this. For me, stat of the night at least, is courtesy of pivotfade.com. Knicks defensive rating tonight, 96.9. That's pretty good, right? 96.9 against the Space team. Pretty good, right? With Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns on the floor together in 25 minutes and 31 seconds, 73.1 defensive rating.
That's fantastic. Can I ask you a question while you have Pivot Fade up?
Sure.
The old starters.
Yeah.
What did they do? What did our boys do?
Well, they've been positive 2 straight games, right?
I know.
And in this game, Jalen Brunson, Karl-Anthony Towns, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, and OG Anunoby outscored the Pacers 18-15 in 9 minutes and 46 seconds. Not the most impressive offensive showing, 85.7 offensive rating, but again, a 71.4 defensive rating.
Grinded it out, baby.
They did.
Grinded it out.
That's
good. We'll take
We'll
it.
Three straight games. The starters have been good.
There you go. Uh-oh.
Since we're doing trivia, would you like to know something about Jalen Brunson? If I can just jump in real quick.
I'm going to listen. I'm going to grab a new beer, though. Yes, continue.
Okay, then fine. John's not here right now. Benji, so right now, Jalen Brunson, after tonight's 34-point performance, is averaging 30.1 points per game in the playoffs. He is now the 14th player with a minimum of 14 games played in a playoff to be averaging 30 points a game.
Among the lights, 14th player or 14th time?
No. It's been done like Michael Jordan did it 8 times, so it's not like 14 times. But
and
the 14 players. Do you want to guess a couple of the names on this list that Jalen Brunson has just joined?
I'm fairly certain I've looked up of either this list or a version of this list before. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like of the 14 are like 12 top 75 guys.
Sure. I didn't look that far into it. I just started on StatHead, John.
Is this like are you asking
the names are
live?
The names are Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Jerry West, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, Giannis, Kawhi, Allen Iverson, Hakeem, and Rick Barry.
Wait, hold on. Start with Giannis again. Giannis, Kawhi.
I will send you the list.
No. Okay. Just say from Giannis, Kawhi. Who else?
Giannis, Kawhi, Allen Iverson, Hakeem, Rick Barry. You just saw me give John a note for the newsletter.
So everybody on the list is a top 75 player of all time, with the exception of Nikola Jokic, who could retire today and he'd be one of the top 15 players of all time, and Luka Doncic, who must stink because the Dallas Mavericks traded him for 18
for the number one pick in the draft. Yes.
What's that?
For the number one pick in the draft. Yes, they traded.
Oh, yes, that's right. They traded for the number one pick.
They won the trade.
Part of the deal. Yes, they won the trade. Yes. How could I forget that? That's a list.
That is a list that superstar Jalen Brunson has just joined after another 30-plus point performance. He is 17 games into his playoffs right now, averaging 30.1 points per game. Love my captain. On both ends tonight, he was really good, too.
And the wild part, I'm curious you guys' take on this. It does not feel like he has had a great, capital G, great postseason. Is that insane of me to say?
Yes.
Okay.
Man, I don't think it's insane to say. I really don't, because the expectations are what they are, which is maybe the greatest compliment to him of all, is that you can look at this postseason and say it hasn't been amazing with those numbers. Because I think he's averaging 30 on probably 46, 37, something like that.
I looked
85.
Exactly that, actually.
46, 37, 85 splits.
Yep.
That's quite good. Is it the best that he can do? Maybe not. And we haven't had, there could be a 50 ball at some point. You never know with him. But it's those are where the expectations are. He is absurd. He's absurd.
7 assists, by the way, for those keeping track at home. 30 and 7 on 46, 36, 37, 85 splits.
My best bet. Can we, why for betting and sweating do the two people doing the program, the show, why do our best bets not get in there? Because I went on live an hour before the game, and I told everybody who was willing to listen, Jalen Brunson, over 41.5 points, rebounds, assists. It's free money. Just take the free money.
Always
I should get credit for that.
He's such a responder. You can always bet on a response from him. That's such a beautiful thing, too. And don't take that for granted. If it's a bad game for the team, bad game for him, he's coming out and he's going to do his thing. That's what he does. That's what he does.
What did Brunson finish with tonight? Points, rebounds, and assists.
It was more. It was higher than the total. Hold on. I'll go look right now.
So as we transition into betting and sweating for tonight,
32 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists.
So it clears it by the skin of its teeth.
Who cares how much it clears it by?
So John's best bet hits. So we went 5-0 tonight in the entire betting universe between John and Mensa on the pregame, and then your 3 bets on the Fanatics Sportsbook app. Josh Hart, 9+ rebounds. That was mine. It hit. Jeff, goodness, what a bet. Landry Shamet, 1+ made threes at +100. And then
Landry Shamet.
He took a Landry Shamet prop for betting and sweating, and it hit.
Amazing.
And then Sean with a W, Tyrese Haliburton, under 5.5 first quarter points. This almost hit for the game. But Tyrese Haliburton had 2 points at the end of the first quarter. So
he is so fascinating.
He is.
I don't know if I've ever seen a player like him.
Haliburton?
That the level of involvement, like he just has these games. Like he's gonna have 1 or 2 a series where he's just not aggressive. It is so odd. I don't know any other. He is a bona fide superstar. That conversation is over.
Well, that was a dumb conversation.
He is a superstar. He's amazing. But I've never seen a superstar that you could bet it 1 or 2 games he's going to have a no-show. It's just weird. Hard to explain.
I before coming on here, I tweeted that to that effect, Benji. I didn't know if we were going to get one of those uninterested in competing Tyrese Haliburton games this series. And he took 7 field goal attempts. I know they've got a game 6 at home that he can depend on, but if Jalen Brunson had a game like this, my goodness, the talking heads the next day.
Can I add a caveat?
Sure.
He's a superstar that is also a proven, for me at least, I mean, maybe I'm just jaded because I've seen him do it against us, a proven playoff performer. We could talk about other superstars who have, like James Harden, right? Like has had some playoff games.
Yeah.
This is a different animal.
Yeah. I guess Harden does also do this where he doesn't take a lot of shots, which is odd. I don't know. It feels different than Harden because I feel right to your point. The guy has already, I think, proven he's up for the big games. Yeah. Like generally speaking, and he has had masterpieces. Game 4 was a masterpiece, an absolute masterpiece,
utter masterpiece. And he hit the biggest shot of the series, obviously. It goes with that.
Yeah, so it's like, and for him to he dominates the entire game. He had a triple double in the third quarter. He dominated the whole game. How many rebounds did he have tonight?
First quarter. Tonight?
Yeah.
Tonight, Tyrese Haliburton, his final stat line was 8 points, 6 assists, 2 rebounds, 2 steals.
Two rebounds? Where did he was Magic Johnson in game 4. He was Magic Johnson. And then he comes down and gets 2 rebounds and shoots. It's so bizarre. I'm telling you, it's not happening in game 6. So they're going to have to take some punches. They're going to have to take some stupid logo threes and some fake no-look passes. It's all going to go that way. And you just have to, I'm telling you, man, it's going to be about finding traction on those runs and stopping them and fighting back. It's going to be a close game.
Game 6 is going to be about, can it be a 2-possession game? Ideally a 1-possession game, last 7-8 minutes. That's, to me, that's where I'm at for game 6.
Hopefully they come up clutch in the end of game 6, like we did tonight, going 5 for 5 in betting and sweating. Shout out to the fine folks over at Fanatics Sportsbook as we're doing a segment here on the KFS Postgame Show. Earn up to 10% back on your bonus bets, win or lose. Use fan cash on team gear on fanatics.com or bonus bets and profit boosts in the Fanatics Sportsbook app. Stay tuned for exclusive offers all playoffs long. I'm actually going to talk to them over at Fanatics because you could have bet tonight that an Ariel Hukporti over 0.5 in points, and it would have hit. The prop wasn't available, but I'm going to talk to them to see if they can do it. Either way, you talked about your loser friend, Benji, right? Dude,
he's not. He's a lovely man. I feel bad.
Lovely man. Probably a great person.
Big KFS fan. Loves you guys.
Thank you, Jason, for being a big KFS fan. I totally never had those thoughts at all during this series. Speaking of losers, shout out to Ariel Hukporti, who passed Joel Embiid for career points scored in the conference finals tonight. Congratulations,
that was good.
Ariel.
That was good.
You passed an MVP in points scored in the conference finals for your career. So bravo to you. You could probably catch Joel. I don't know if he's booked or not, but you could probably catch Joel Embiid at Fanatics Fest. I have no idea if he's going. I better believe I'm not going to have that energy for him if he's standing in front of me. But shout out to Fanatics Fest, which is next month. It's less than a month away, June 20th to the 22nd in the Javits Center here in New York City. Get your tickets today at fanaticsfest.com and use promo code Knicks Film School 20. That offer is good until June 4th. Knicks Film School 20 for 20% off. You can get a pass for all 3 days. We'll be there walking around doing man on the street interviews, maybe even a live podcast with a couple of guests. But you want to see us there. There's a lot of stuff going on. Do a 3-day pass, do a single-day pass for Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. We may be busy that Sunday. Who knows? That Sunday is Game 7 of the NBA Finals as of right now. But job not finished. As of right now, your only responsibility is to enjoy a Game 5 win and get your tickets for Fanatics Fest at the link in the description of this episode, not fanaticsfest.com. Use the link. We have a KFS specific link below.
Andrew, you don't like when we have a Haliburton podcast during the Fanatics segment?
I just didn't know what to do.
Don't you guys think? Didn't they
diverted into ball talk? And I was
didn't they partner with us for our content?
They did. They did. I just didn't know. I was here for the hijinks, and it turned into very serious. I'm just standing up there with a screenshot of the app. So I was like, I wonder what to do now.
Let me promote.
By the way,
can I promote? I'm going to promote for you now.
Please
I'm going to make up for it. Fanatics, my guys at Fanatics, with my fan cash, of course. Hat, sweatshirt, and a brand new setup behind me. You may have noticed. That's went full screen on me. This is great. So you see the picture right there? It's a little blocked in the light.
Yeah.
You know who that is? That's a signed Julius Randle picture.
Hey!
Respect for my boy Julius. We're sorry it didn't go well there in Game 5. In fact, it went horribly wrong. But you had a great playoff run. We're proud of you. You're a Knick for life. I wanted to respect him because he's when I got started on this thing was Julius Randle. Then on this side, we got a Jalen Brunson poster. Bam! Look at that beauty.
Love it.
And that's courtesy of Fanatics, and I appreciate them very much. And you should cash in your fan cash, right, Andrew? There's your promo.
Absolutely. Bravo, Benji. That was great. For those listening on the podcast feed, Benji just showed us his setup, and you should go subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're about 150 away from 30,000 subscribers.
Oh shit!
So,
hey, let's do that.
So folks, get us there by Game 6, so we have more than one thing to celebrate.
Get us there tonight,
or just get it. I had like a good line there, Benji, and he just like trampled all over it. I was gonna say, get us there by Game 6, so we have more than one thing to celebrate after the game. Is where I
want a Game 7 so bad now, guys.
I
want it.
I got the taste tonight. It's them chanting Knicks in 7 at the end. I tweeted this out at the end of Game 4. I asked that the Knicks only win an odd number of games the rest of the series. Either win 1 more and let them celebrate in Indy, or win 3 more. So I will say, now that they've won the first one, what John said at the end of Game 2 on this very post game with both Benji and John on this stage, go win 2 more. I will not accept just 1 more win in this series. I will not accept them celebrating on this court again, this time with a trophy presentation. Go win 2 more. You've earned it. You've got to this point where you steal 1 more on the road. You've been great on the road in the postseason. You're 6-2, and then you get a home game for a trip to go to the NBA Finals. Go win 2 more.
They still haven't played a great game.
And you talk about
a great 48-minute game.
When we talk about Game 4 as this Indiana blowout, and you know what? With as great as Indiana played and the relentless pace at which they played, that was a game.
Yeah.
They never blew them out, and I think that was a good sign in a funny way. Like the Knicks never really had a grasp of the game, and yet they were in it.
Yeah.
And I just like I don't know what's going to happen. It would be silly of me to predict what's going to happen. I picked Knicks in 7 at the beginning of the series. Hell, I'll stick with it. I don't know. But a lot of things to be excited about going into Game 6. And look, every game's a privilege. The pressure is a privilege. You're playing ball at the end of the season. It's a beautiful thing.
Benji, it's a privilege to talk to you on these post games. I will say that.
Not me though. Just to you, Benji. It's a privilege to talk to you, Benjy Ritholtz. and only you, Benjy Ritholtz. What's the trophy, by the way? People on
you know what? I'm gonna go pee.
people
while
on
you do
YouTube.
this.
People on YouTube. You'll get to please. People listening, go to YouTube and look at this. You have 2 trophies behind you. It looks like. So the one that you're pointing to right now, what's that trophy for?
Those are the glory days, baby. That's my MVP trophy in high school for championship.
MVP.
You're
You're MVP, Benjy Ritholtz?
It's too far back, so you can't see the word.
Okay.
That's what it says. I promise. I can bring it over. This is academic All-American in college.
Okay.
That's an important one to me. That one is some award that I don't remember what it is.
Gotcha.
That one's also a high school trophy that I think looks dope, so I put it there. Not that significant. And this courtesy of my brother is an 1800 tequila with a Knicks branding on it. Check that out.
Oh, I don't know why I put that back on the screen.
So yeah,
that is nice.
Listen, this has been like a glow up for me, man, back there. Thanks to Fanatics, thanks to my brother, thanks to my own successes.
Yes, indeed. Congrats. Shout out to Benjy on his own success.
Shout out to me before John gets back and kicks me out of here finally.
There you go. Shout out to the Knicks. A great Game 5 victory. And yeah, as I said, go win 2 more.
John, take some super chats, would you? Oh, you're muted.
Oh, you're right.
There you are.
Yeah, I think I is this where I let you go? I think I'll let you go here.
Let me go. Jason, I love you. John, I love you. Have fun out there. Talk to you guys later.
Will do. All right. Now it's just me. By myself. Oh, wait. Fanatics Sportsbook. $100 fat cash. Getting out. Here's $100 of fat cash. Plus 150 to win on Saturday. Or plus 600 to win the series. Do you believe, Knicks fans? Plus 600 to win the series. I would have expected the odds wouldn't be that high. If I'm placing one of those bets up, give me plus 600 to win the series. Absolutely. Sure, why not? Crazier things have happened. Come on. Again, here's the thing I want to say, though, and I've thought this a few times, and I haven't said it out loud, and I'm going to be probably stupid to say it now, but I'll say it anyway. That statistic, the 13 and 260 or 70, whatever the hell it is, it's a very deceiving statistic because there's been a lot of teams, for instance, over the course of NBA history that are in the first round and it's like an 8-1 or a 7 or a 2-7 or even like a 6-3 that like very clearly there's one team that is much better than the other team. And like the team that is not as good, they'll go back home. They'll win like a game 3, maybe even a gentleman's sweep game 4, and then they'll lose in 5 games or 6 games. So like, I think it's I don't know. I just think it's a slightly deceiving statistic, but fact remains, 13 teams have done it. Why can't we make it 14? Series has been actually, who has more points in the series now? The Knicks or the Pacers? I think if it's. I can't hear you. I think you might be muted.
No, that's me. The Knicks have outscored the Pacers officially in this series with this 17-point win.
There you go. So, not crazy.
Look, to your math that you're playing out here, 13 teams have done it ever, but 11 have done it this century. So this is a thing that has happened more commonly than the math would tell you over the course of the last 25 years. Also, a clarification from the fine folks over at Fanatics Sportsbook. They sent it to YouTube on the back end. The YouTube messes up sometimes. Definitely not Fanatics Sportsbook that messed up here. It's plus 275 for the Knicks to win the series. Like you said, it's much better odds.
I'll still take plus 275 to win the series. If I'll say right now, if they win game 6, they're winning game 7.
Hell yeah. I will just say, please, if you win game 6, win game 7.
All right. Thank you for popping up there, Andrew. Okay. Thank you to Fanatics Sportsbook for the $100 in fan cash. And thanks to them just generally for being our presenting sponsor. I've had a ton of fun making all kinds of bets tonight. My long shot bet, that the one that I actually bet, if I was smart, I would have bet my own best bet and did the over 41.5 points, rebounds, assists for Brunson. The bet that I actually made on my app tonight was the long shot bet, the parlay, where I did Brunson 38 or more points, Hart 12 or more rebounds. And I like, it was like down to the fourth quarter, and I was like, yeah, I still got a shot. because I think I got plus 900 on that, and didn't come my way, but that's okay because it was a good one to root for. Okay, on that note, I think we got some super chats that maybe we're gonna get to tonight. Shout out to Kevin on the 1s and 2s, and obviously shout out to Andrew as well for doing his thing. But we will begin with Nick Head tonight. It worked. Let's go Knicks, baby. Here we go. Badowski, Burnham Bridges. Will my filet be celebratory or a last meal? Let's freaking go. Celebratory. And speaking of your filet, I just went and took a bathroom break. And as I was doing so, I remembered I have some leftover chicken fingers and fries that my daughter did not finish from yesterday that I'm going to heat up when this live stream is over. I'm very excited about that. Just want to throw that out there. Thanks, Badowski. Jasso focused. I'm not getting comfy until the clock says 00:00. I think, Ja, for me, I did not feel like the game was won until the OG missed 3. And I tried to, I usually I've been doing the playbacks, but tonight I was with my daughters, so I actually wanted to watch the game with my daughters. And so I wasn't on the playback tonight, but usually I have the playback on and then I have the TV on, and the TV is a few seconds after. So I get to see if I miss something. I forget who kept the ball alive there. Somebody kept the ball alive, or multiple people kept the ball alive there. It ended up in a cat drive and what should have been an and one, but that made it 106-90 with I want to say there was like under 3 minutes left at that point. I'm gonna look it up right now. It made it 106-90 with 2:44 remaining. At that moment, I was like, okay, I think they got this. And then, sure, as Towns is at the free throw line, that's when Carlisle took out his big players. Thanks, Joe. Jason Kirsch, Leon Rose either has to fire Tibbs or trade Hart. That didn't age well. Listen, we talked about Hart. Hart's he's a maddening player at times. Look, Tibbs, I don't know. We're not going to do the Tibbs thing until after the postseason is over. Actually, that's not true because we did the Tibbs thing after Game 4. Everybody had him fired and the whole thing. Well, guess what? Top Thibodeau just won another conference finals game. And his starting lineup that everybody said he was insane for going back to was a plus 18 in a game you won by 17 points. The bench buttons that he's pushed with the Shamet, Delon Wright lineup, it's become the best thing about the team. And the starting lineup that he was murdered repeatedly for sticking with for so long has now outscored the Pacers in 3 straight games. And oh, by the way, like he, again, as Benji told you, it wasn't like a schematic adjustment tonight, but like they dialed it up in exactly the area they needed to dial it up on the coverage. So, Jason, all due respect, maybe you could show a little fucking respect. Respectfully. Of course. Thanks, Jason. Armand Bernajaz, JH, is the poster boy of this team, meaning Josh Hart. Just maddening. Yeah, it was a maddening game for Josh Hart, but made some big plays in the fourth quarter, so we are thankful for his contributions. Buddy! There we go. Now, Buddy gets us started in earnest there as we begin the Super Chats from after the game. There will be no tap dancing on our logo tonight. Played with pride. Glad the Garden got to celebrate one more. Pressure on Indy now? Question mark? Maybe, maybe not. We move. Shouts to Marcus Camby. Just because basketball is beautiful. Fuddy, I think this was an important win. I think this was an important win, regardless of what happens in game 6. Because as you said, you stood up, you had pride. And that Indy team was coming in with all the momentum in the world because of how the series has gone, where they felt like they shouldn't have won game 3. They felt that game 3 was not the Knicks winning game 3, but it was them losing game 3. They came out. They did exactly what they wanted to do in game 4. They got a win that at the end of the day, it never got like really close in the fourth. Although, again, as we talked about the other night, the Knicks had their chances to cut that to, like a one possession game in the fourth quarter, at least one chance. Like, they play fast and loose and free and the whole thing. The Knicks needed to stop the train. That train had pulled out of the station, and boy, was it flying after how game 1 ended. And the Knicks needed to figure out a way to stop it. And they did tonight. And that's, again, are they a perfect team? No, they're a far from perfect team. Structurally, they are flawed. Roster-wise, in terms of like having all the guys that they need that check all the boxes that you need to win a title. Do they have all that stuff? No, I don't think they do. The coach is not perfect. Goodness knows. Coach is not perfect. But they went in to Madison Square Garden tonight, and they took that team that had all the momentum in the world, and they beat them down. And they absolutely exerted their will. And that is something that, again, the Knicks should be proud of. Every Knicks fan should be proud of. I don't know how Game 6 is going to go, but at the very least, you represented yourselves well tonight. And that goes for every player on the roster, Josh Hart included, who is not a perfect game from Josh Hart, but made some winning plays. Thank you, David. JD, pregame bet. Deuce, Hart, Mitch, all 5+ points. Easy money. I don't know if, again, shouting myself out from betting and sweating. My long shot bet, I think it was plus 900. Plus 900? I think it was plus 900. It's plus something crazy for the Knicks to win by 21 points. I'm like, couldn't you just see this team winning by a bunch? Fell a little bit short, 17-point win, but still, I'm patting myself on the back. That was a good bet, though. That was a good bet. Easy money is right. Thanks, JD. Mecky, what's going on, Mecky? Mecky, you were optimistic after game 4, and I appreciate that about you. I appreciate you generally because there are a lot of times where I feel like I am drowning in the ocean on these post games, and you always throw me a life preserver, so I appreciate that. You are not the eulogizer today, Benjy, or you are not the eulogizer today, Benjy. Glad you were able to watch. Glad you will also be able to watch the game on Saturday. Oh, yeah, that's right. Benjy gets to watch the game. Well, that's good. Maybe that'll bring us some luck. I hope so. Thank you, Mickey. Barry Craver. I didn't hear no bell. Yes. Take 2 from Rocky 5. Shout out to Barry. He gave me the inspiration for my newsletter title after game 3. Let's hope the bell doesn't ring for another, at least another game. Thanks, Barry. Armand with another one. On Melo's birthday, Precious passes him in all-time Knicks playoff wins. Oh, goodness gracious. That's a stat. Shout out to Precious Achiuwa, who scored a basket tonight. Look. Melo, what do you win? 7 playoff games as a Knick? Not his fault. Not his fault, but the fact that, to me, Armand, that stat is like confirmation that we really should not take this team, this group, this front office, this coach. We should not take any of this for granted, for as frustrating as this team has been at times, and as frustrating as certainly the series has been at times. We should not take it for granted. And I'm speaking of myself, to be clear. Thanks, Armin. Andy Sawicki, what's going on, Andy? Felt like every time Reggie said something dumb, the Knicks had an answer to shut him up. Let's go Knicks. I just thought Reggie, I don't have a big problem with how Reggie is called the series. I think he's been, I mean, him and Stan went on that whole diatribe about although that was with the with the flagrant review. Reggie, that was a really creepy line thing that you said about the kissing. I've been kissed harder. That was really weird. Don't ever say that again. But overall, whatever. Right, I thought that we're fine. Thanks, Andy. Zach Horowitz. Zero reason we can't defend like that 2 more times. Our offense and decision-making can be much better. Pacers role players remembered who they are. Yeah, I mean, Pacer role players. I mean, Jarris Walker got real time tonight. It was actually pretty good. Obi Toppin, oof. How about this? Not a great look for the former 8th pick in the draft. Obi Toppin played 18 minutes tonight, and in his 18 minutes, the Pacers were a minus 26 in a game they lost by 17. Maybe the Pacers, it was an overpay to give up 2 second-round picks for Obi Toppin. I'm kidding. Obi's been great as a Pacer, but not good tonight. McConnell was fine, but you didn't really feel McConnell's impact in a big way. As I look at his stat line, 7 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. He's probably a little bit better than giving him credit for. Ben Shepherd actually hit both of his threes, so that was good. And Ben Mathurin, man. Ben Mathurin tonight had 23 points in 25 minutes. Ben Mathurin has been awesome. Capital A, awesome in the last 2 games of the series. I think you could argue that he's been the biggest revelation for Indiana over these last couple games. But a couple other guys, Nesmith, 1 of 8. He's been dreadful shooting-wise in the series. I could see that turning around. Hopefully it doesn't. Turner, very quiet night from Turner. 24 minutes, 2 rebounds from Miles Turner. And 4 turnovers. Not what you want. And then Nembhard, down to earth, 3 for 8 from the field, 6 points. The Pacers, they had 94 points. And hold on here. Pacers had 94 points. 16, 22, 32. Only 37 points from their starters. That is wild. Wild. Anyway. Thanks, Zach. Alex Cohen, what's going on, Alex? Focus, intensity, pride. Knicks in 7. It's a wrap. I mean, again, it's famous last words. Because how many times have I said it in this postseason? And this is why people have gotten so frustrated with this team. If they go out there in the next game in Indiana for Game 6 and they play like they did tonight, we're going to a Game 7. That's it. That's all there is to it. It's not a question. Just go out and play like you did tonight. Now, can you go out and play like you did tonight? Well, we've said it a lot of times this postseason. Just go out there and do that. We just saw it. Do that. Do that thing. Are they going to do it? Find out in 48 hours, won't we? Thanks, Alex. Juanon, what's going on, Juanon? Jekyll showed up. Just need them to show up 2 more times. Side note, is there a worse commentator than Stan Van Gundy? Can't wait to piss on the TNT NBA grave. Absolute trash broadcast. # fire tips. I know there was a chance like tonight was going to be the last, inside the NBA or whatever. I didn't care, don't care, haven't watched the show in a few years. It's just stopped becoming interesting to me. And if something is not interesting to me, even if it is funny on occasion, I'm just not going to give it my time. Thanks, Juanon. Ray Marcano. Remember, John, I predicted the Knicks would go down 3-1 and would win the series. If that happens, I'm buying a lotto ticket. Keep up the great work. Ray, you're too kind. I do remember that. Ray, you made that prediction on our town hall. I said, oh my God, I hope you're wrong. I'll have heart failure. At this point, needless to say, I hope you're right. Thank you, Ray. You're the best, man. I don't know what I'd do without you. I am AK Legend. Let's freaking go Knicks. In other good news, my KFS merch shipped. Just take it game by game. Awesome, man. Thank you for supporting the cause. Anybody who wants to get in on some Knicks Film School merchandise, I should be able to tell you the exact website. But of course, I'm an idiot and don't know it off the top of my head. So I just Google Knicks Film School merch, and then it brings me right to this page. The website actually is Knick Film School, SKOOL.com. That's KNICK, Knick Film School, SKOOL.com. You could get all kinds of stuff. You get a hat like I'm wearing, get some t-shirts, get some great logo stuff, lots of great stuff on our merch store. So thank you, I am AK Legend. Appreciate you. TJ2K, 0-0 game to 1. That's the mentality. Hashtag 2 to go. 0-0 game to 1. Yeah. I mean, yes. But as Benji said, you're going to take some hits on Saturday. Now, how do you take those hits? And what happens after you get hit? Can you punch back? I'm telling everybody right now, Saturday's not going to be pretty. There's going to be moments where you want to pull your hair out, where you're going to say, oh my God, how are they doing this? How are they allowing this? Why aren't they doing this, that, and the other thing? Guess what? It's playoff basketball. Can you withstand? That's the question going into Saturday. Thank you, TJ2K. Just so focused. Game's over. Good. Now do it again on Saturday. Hashtag last one. Yeah, we'll see. I hope so, man. I hope so. If they win on Saturday, there's going to be some excitement in New York City. I'll tell you that. Thank you, Ja. Rich McLeod. What's going on, Rich? Well. We have not escaped this Knicks roller coaster quite yet. So what does this team have to avoid a repeat of how Boston closed out the last series? Game 5 inspired win, Game 6 beatdown. Well, for one, the Knicks are healthy. That's a big one. I mean, it's a great question. Stay poised. I did not think the Celtics stayed poised. Knicks made some shots in that Game 6. Boy, did they ever make some shots. Got a cold start, but they eventually made some shots. No, it's about poise. It's about poise. It's about attention to detail. It's about communication. It's about withstanding the punch. That's all it is. I think we're beyond X's and O's at this point in the series. It's about, what do you got? What do you got in here? What do you got deep down? Thanks, Rich. Stevens Guillaume, live to fight another day. Amen to that. I'm happy we're not doing a eulogy tonight. Didn't really want to do a eulogy tonight. Don't want to do a eulogy on Saturday either, for what it's worth. Thanks, Stevens. Jeff K, what's going on? Huck Porty has more conference finals points than Embiid. Jeff, Andrew got your back on that one. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate you. Zach with another one. What's going on, Zach? Ain't over yet, mother furs, MFers, whatever. Most Knicks' way to win a series is still in play. Put the pressure on these mid bums. The nerds of knee seem to fall apart. Get it? I did get it. So you say put the pressure on these mid bums. They did not allow Tyrese Haliburton to beat them tonight. And Tyrese Haliburton is their best player. And their remaining players did not come up big enough. Like, I have still, despite tonight, a ton of respect for the Nemharts and the Neesmiths and the Turners and the McConnells. I mean, Mathurin, obviously, Mathurin was awesome, you know, and the Ben Shepherds of the world. Siakam, I mean, listen, Pascal Siakam's awesome. He's been awesome the whole series. He's going to be there. He's going to produce on Saturday. I have respect for all those other guys. And I think, yeah, you can't let Tyrese Haliburton beat you, but you can't sell out in the process. You have to stand your ground. And that means digging in. That's all it is. It's about digging in. That's what Saturday's about. It's about digging in, digging deep. That's what they did tonight. They dug deep. Can you do it again? Thanks, Zach. Mecky with another one. Unlike Miami in 2023, I feel like we are the better team. We are a great road team, just need to contain their energy. Josh Hart, please watch film. No need to prove DJ wrong. Let's go Knicks. Yeah, DJ famously picked Pacers in 6. Would love nothing more than for DJ to be wrong. I'm sure DJ would love nothing more than for DJ to be wrong. Just need to contain their energy. Yeah, I mean, it's easier said than done, right? And you know that, Mecky. And by the way, I appreciate the generosity. Thank you so much for the double contribution here. I also feel like at this point, and I know I said it after Game 4 that the Pacers were unquestionably the better team. I don't know. Call me fickle, but I've kind of swung the other way. Watching tonight, it was just a reminder that when the Knicks play like they're capable of playing, they are the better team. It's about, can you play like you're capable of playing? Can you contain their energy in their home arena? That's the thing. Can you contain their energy in their home arena? It's not going to be easy, and you're not going to do it for 48 minutes. Can you do it enough? Josh Hart needs to just pull his head out of his ass. That ain't about watching film. You know? The thing about, and one last thing I'll say about Miami in 2023, the Knicks had a chance to win that game. The Knicks had a great chance to win that game. Now, that was a different type of game than the type of game that this game is going to be. That was a dogfight. This game's going to be a different game on Saturday. I can promise you that. Thanks, Mecky. Bill Peter, friend. What's going on, Bill? Thank you so much for the contribution. Appreciate it very much. Now go make this mean something on Saturday. They have the talent. It all starts with defense. It does all start with defense. If they extend this to a Game 7, it will be because of defense. There is no question that if they make it to a Game 7, it will be because of defense. That is, again, there's no doubt about that. The one thing that I will say, as I'm trying to pull up the statistic that I'm looking for, they will need to make shots. Yes, they will need to defend. It is important that the Knicks defend on Saturday. If they do not defend, they are not going to win the game. That goes without saying. The Pacers are going to score. Doesn't matter what you do on the defensive end. The Pacers are going to score. They figure out ways to score. They go on runs. It's what they do. If you are the Knicks, I think you need a better shot-making performance from people other than Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns than you got tonight. And, I mean, I thought McCall did, did he do enough tonight? Like right there. He was right there. OG, I'm looking at you a little bit more. So for the series, I'm going to go both of those guys. Bridges, 44% from the field, 33.3% from deep. It's not quite going to get it done. OG Anunoby, 43% from the field, 29.4% from the deep, from deep. That's not going to get it done. Even Deuce, and I think Deuce has played well. 36% from the field, 33% from deep. Not going to get it done. You've had two players really show up in a significant way on offense. I'm not even counting Josh Hart. Josh Hart has shot, to his credit, 52% from the field. We won't talk about his 22% from deep. It's on fewer than 2 attempts a game. But, two players for the Knicks, for real, have shown up on offense in this series. That is not going to be enough. I'm just saying, it's not going to be enough on Saturday. Doesn't matter how well you defend. If Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson are the only Knicks that show up in a big, big way on offense on Saturday, not going to a Game 7. So, got to be both sides of the ball. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate you. Next up, after Bill, so I'm continuing to filibuster. I might go shut off my fan because it's getting a little cold in here. I don't know if I should talk about something else because I just see Bill's super chat here still stare me in the face. What can I take this opportunity to say? Oh, you know what I'll do? I'll hold on here. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to update on-offs for this series because I was thinking about that. So here we go. For the series, hold on. Okay. I'll do it by minutes. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do it by totals. I'm going to do it by I'm not going to do it by here, advanced on-off traditional totals. Here we go. Hold on here. Okay. Updated. Oh, no, that's the whole playoff. Sorry. I'm all over the place here. All right. Last 5 games against Indiana. Best on-off of the team through 5 games of this series. Karl-Anthony Towns, plus 24 in 173 minutes. After that, the next best on-off guy, Landry Shamet, plus 22 in only 37 minutes. And then after that, DeLon Wright, plus 15 in 33 minutes. And then after that, OG Anunoby plus 8, Deuce plus 8, Precious plus 6 in 8 minutes. That's funny. And then Campaign minus 4 in 19 minutes. Jalen Brunson minus 8 in 178 minutes. That's if the Knicks win this game in 7 or series in 7, I trust that will be a positive number by the end of the series. Mitch actually a minus 10 in 118 minutes. Hart minus 11 in 177 minutes. And then Mikal Bridges still pulling up the rear, minus 20 in 196 minutes. But in fairness, as Alex, shout out to Alex from Knicks or Substack, pointed out to me today, Mikal's minutes in this series have almost come exclusively with Haliburton on the court. He doesn't get the benefit of the non-Haliburton minutes. So the minus 20 for Bridges in this series, probably not totally fair. Yeah. So that's your on-off update. Trying to think what else I could do until we wait for the next super chat. Let's actually check in on a couple other statistics from tonight. Oh, no, here we go. We're back. Okay. Anthony Sixto. No matter how frustrating when this team shows us their best version, makes me a believer. Exactly the kind of win we needed. Repeatable process. They've made us all believers. Like, how many times? Like, it's maybe not with every win, but they've made us believers after a lot of wins, and then they go out there and they play a game, and that will just an inexplicable game, and then they'll all the belief that we had will turn into doubt. Again, I could literally go check chapter and verse. Game 2, Detroit. Game 5, Detroit. Game 3, Boston. Game 5, Boston. Needless to say, Game 1, Indy. Game 2, Indy. Game 4, Indy. After every one of those games, whatever belief we had kind of fell by the wayside. Look, they lose one more in this series, and then the conversation's over, and then our disbelief, I guess, will be justified. But they've done really well to come this far. So credit to them for that. Kevin O. Peterson, what's going on? This is clearly the better team when they hustle and play defense. There's just no way to know whether you will get that with this team on a nightly basis. Should be 3-2 us. Now going back to Indiana. Game 1. Yeah, I mean, as Benji said, he thinks about Game 1 every day. It is what it is. You spotted him one. If you truly are the better team, and if, as you say, Kevin, they are clear. If you think they are clearly the better team, you should be able to win the series. Still, even after Game 1, are they clearly the better team? I don't know that I believe that yet. I thought they were the better team coming into the series. I still think they are the better team. Are they clearly the better team? Maybe we'll find out. Thanks, Kev. Hayden Freed, Breen not calling that game is criminal. JB is the GOAT. I mean, he can't because it's on TNT, but what are you gonna do? How about this? How about the Knicks make the finals and then Breen can call all the games he wants? Thanks, Hayden. Jason with another one. Knicks win when Kylie attends. Let's start a GoFundMe. You can get on that, Jason, and feel free to shoot me the link. Will Oliver, one game at a time, guys. Wow, Landry Shamet chance. He deserved them. He absolutely deserved them. The Knicks, it sounds silly to say in a game they won by 17 points. I don't think they win this game without Landry Shamet doing what he did. He was that important. He his contributions in the moment were that big. And he deserved every bit of love. And Landry Shamet, look, Benji kind of alluded to it. Landry Shamet's caught a lot of shit this year. From me, from others. Just they needed him. They needed him tonight, and they've needed him in this series. So there you go. Thanks, Will. Rich McLeod. Cat, Hart, and Bridges are such enigmas, man. Sometimes game to game, other times quarter to quarter. Let's take those one at a time, shall we? Cat, you can't call him an enigma because we've been seeing the exact same thing for 10 years. This is who Cat is. He has moments of brilliance, and he has moments of utter, it's just maddening. And it's often, like the flip of a switch. That's just who he is. I don't consider him to be an enigma. Josh Hart, I don't think he's an enigma either because, again, we've been watching Josh Hart long enough to know he gets in these headspaces. And I think it's just from a lack of confidence. I think he is, of any player on the Knicks, the above the neck for him is by far the most important. And when he's not a confident player, it resonates in everything that he does, including throwing really insane passes. Bridges of these three might be the most enigmatic. I think I'm using that word correctly. Of them, because so often you feel like, man, it's right there for you, and he just doesn't want to take it. And maybe that's an unfair accounting on my part, but yeah, I don't know. there's another part of me that I think with Bridges, just so much of it comes down to hitting shots or missing shots. And like, he's not the sort of player that you would look at his game and what he does and be like, oh yeah, that's a guy that needs to shoot well to be impactful positively. On this team and the role that Bridges has and like the shots he gets and like the opportunities he gets more generally, I think he does just kind of need to shoot well to play well, you know? And it is what it is. Thanks, Rich. Zip Davis. Party bus. Ooh wee. That's good. Hope I got that right. Thanks, Zip. Let's hope for the party bus. Meet Maravich. What's going on? Meet. After this, I'm going to shut off my fan, which should take me about 2 seconds. This team has one identity, and that's that they don't know when their pulse should stop. For all that they aren't, they are tough. Yes. For all that they aren't, they are indeed tough. You know, even look throughout this series, inexplicably went to overtime in game 1, had a 4-point lead in overtime against all odds. Game 3, down 20, came back and won. Game 4, where the Pacers had everything going. The Knicks took I think it was a 15-point fourth quarter deficit, and I believe at one point they chopped it down to 6, shaved 9 points off the fourth quarter lead, again against a team that had everything going for them. And then tonight, you know, obviously came out good, hit shots, Brunson, the whole thing, Cat, the whole thing, and yet they were challenged. And they stayed tough. So good job by them. They deserve our praise tonight, just as they did after game 3. I mean, shit, as they probably did in game 1, although I was too angry to do any of that. Go get one more and bring this back to game 7. Thanks, Meat. Sam Garcia, we live to fight another day. Damn right they do, Sam. It's good to see. Wasn't ready to go home tonight, and I am happy that they were not ready to go home tonight either. Mr. Fabro, what's going on, Mr. Fabro? Moment of the game, Shamet hyping up the crowd after forcing that turnover. I actually didn't even catch him hyping up the crowd, but I'll take your word for it. He was, on a minute-by-minute basis, he was the best player in the game tonight. That's it. He was the best player in the game for the Knicks and actually for anybody. On a per-minute basis, Landry Shamet was awesome. It's not a statement I thought I would be saying after the regular season, that's for sure. Thanks, Mr. Fabro. Dom Cappuccini, what's going on, Dom? You were pretty hopeful during halftime. Didn't get too ahead of yourself, but you were pretty hopeful. Job well done. No celebration on the Garden yet. I have a feeling that could have been Dolan's breaking point. I look forward to all of these big road wins, maybe paving the way to the biggest one on Saturday. Let's go Knicks. I think if they lost this game, it would have been very bad. And I am obviously very hopeful for Saturday. I think they could win on Saturday. I genuinely believe they can win on Saturday. I don't know that I will sit here and be like, I genuinely believe they will win on Saturday. I genuinely believe they can win on Saturday. That they're capable of playing a good enough basketball game to win in that arena, in that environment. Putting that aside, I think this win, if you're talking about and look, we'll see what happens on Saturday. If they get their doors blown off on Saturday, you know, I'm going to be changing my tune. But as of right now, I think this win did a lot in terms of, and look, I'm not going to sit here and talk about the coach's job. It is very interesting, though, always to me, how they lose a game and it's what was 95% of the comments on Tuesday night were about the coach, fire the coach. Coach is the reason they lost. They'd be up 3-1 were it not for the coach, 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 the coach. And tonight, they go out there, they win a game by 17 points. They're incredibly prepared. They have their best defensive game of the playoffs. The starting lineup works. Pretty much all the buttons that got pushed worked. Josh Hart has a poor game, but also made some big plays in the fourth quarter that helped secure the win. It's funny how you don't hear about the coach on a night like tonight. Isn't that funny? Isn't that interesting? Always fascinating to me how that works out. Such is life. Anyway, my point is, I think if they lost tonight, almost regardless of how they lost, it would not have sat well with Dolan. You win tonight, again, I want them to win on Saturday. Let's say you lose a close, tough, good, well-played game on Saturday. You at least look at the situation and be like, an absolute freak occurrence happened in game one of this series. You lost a game that you win 99 times out of 100. You lost it. Were it not for that, you would have the game 7 in your building and you probably win it, And I think it does change the tenor of the conversation. You still are going to regret that game 1 for the rest of your life. But in terms of, all right, what are the major structural changes we need to make to this roster? Maybe to the coach, the whole thing. I just think the conversation becomes a little bit different. But we'll see. We'll see. Long way to go before we have any of those real conversations. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate the generosity, man. Darth Dream. I truly believe our A game can suppress their A game if we bring it. But the only reason Indy's up in this series is because we've been more prone to mental goofiness than they have. Hashtag 7th heaven. Let's see what you did there. Yeah, absolutely. Mental mistakes cost them game 4. Mental mistakes cost them game 1. Game 2 was a weird game. Like they should have won. They could have won game 2. They probably should have won game 2. I just didn't think they played great in game 2 overall. They did some nice things, but yeah, man, mental mistakes. And they're supposed to be a mentally tough team, and they were not a mentally tough team in the most, in end of game 1, biggest spot. They were not mentally tough, and then game 4, throughout the night, none of them. And it wasn't just Josh Hart and his 5 turnovers. Every non-Mitch starter had at least 2 turnovers. So that was a collective team effort. And by the way, they didn't necessarily solve it tonight. They had 15 turnovers tonight. So still got to clean it up. Didn't cost you tonight. It'll if you turn the ball over 15 more times on Saturday, you're not winning the game. Be better. Thanks, Darth Dream. Appreciate you. Taxi Dave, my buddy. What's going on, Taxi Dave? Listening to the beloved Garden fans chant Knicks in 7 in the last 2 minutes says it all. Fucking wow. Love you, Big Mac and Knicks Film School. Appreciate what y'all do for us. Game 6 win is next. I hope so, man. I hope so. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I won't know what to do if they lose game 6. I'll be beside myself. Look, I want them to win game 6 very much. I'd love to see it go to a game 7. If they again, you go to a game 7, if you win this game in Indy and you go to a game 7, it feels like it doesn't excuse game 1. It doesn't make you forget about game 1, but it you will have given yourself a shot. You know, you will have given yourself a shot. Thanks, Taxi Dave. Appreciate you as always, man. Dan Hidalgo, what's going on, Dan? Just dropped my life savings on 2 tickets to Gainbridge. Is that the name of their Pacers arena? I did not know what the name of it was because it's stupid. Look, we are 2 wins away from the NBA Finals. This is rare air. They can do this. And they'll look at it like that. Well, actually, no, they won't look at it like that. They'll look at it as, let's win this game. That's how they're going to look at it. They'll look at it as, let's win this game. As Brunson told you on the post-game interview, it's 1 quarter at a time. You know, that's what they got to do. 1 quarter at a time. Thanks, Dan. Hope they win for you on Saturday. Christopher Halecki, a deceptively well-played game. I like how you put that, Chris. I agree with you. It was well played. It was well played. There was some turnover silliness, obviously. But overall, defensively, really very hard to complain defensively about anything in this game. You know, very hard to complain defensively. And offense, again, the turnovers were silly and maddening. When they actually got shots on goal, really good offensive performance. I mean, you look at it this way. You scored 111 points. You committed 15 turnovers. So I think from that perspective, you know, again, when you got shots up, it was pretty good. And I think that's reflective for the most part in the shooting numbers. You shot 49.4% for the game. And that was with missing 21 threes, and the ones you missed were good looks. Almost all of them were good looks. Thanks, Chris. Greg Moran. Whoa, we got our first one of these tonight. Thank you, Greg. Really appreciate this, buddy. Thank you so much. Jam it down their fucking throats till they choke. Let's freaking go Knicks. Greg, were you in the building tonight? I feel like that's the sort of super chat that comes from someone who was in the building tonight. Landry Shamet, man. How much shit has that dude caught over the course of the playoffs? Seriously. And again, like, I was about to say, I don't want to be that guy. No, that's a lie. I do want to be the guy who, again, asks everybody, hey, like, that's a button that I don't know, you know, how many coaches would push that button, the Landry Shamet button. Jesus, you know? But this coach pushed the Landry Shamet button, and you know what? It has paid off. So, kudos to him and kudos to Landry. Thanks, Greg. Appreciate the immense generosity there. Seriously. Brian Orante. What's going on, Brian? Stadium report. Shout out to section 224 where the real fans are. Landry Shamet in all caps. I think that's the theme of the show so far, right? Landry Shamet? If it isn't, it should be. Thanks, Brian. Glad you got to see that one in person. Alfie, what's going on, Alfie? Alfie Greco. 2-1 in the series since we've introduced a deeper rotation with Shamet and Wright. We are more than capable. Go get one more in Indy. They are more than capable. They have done very well to utilize the deeper rotation. Again, over the last 3 games, you have now outscored the Pacers by a total of 14 points because you were plus 6 in game 3, minus 9 in game 2, and plus 17, obviously, here. So, and again, you're a plus for the series. So I think if you're the Knicks, you got to feel okay about where you're at. The bench units are working. The starting unit tonight worked. And honestly, I thought the starting unit in game 4 worked well enough out of the gate. It was just the third quarter that really let them down. That was the problem. Thanks, Alfie. Luyen, what's going on, Luyen? It ain't over. Handed to the team for coming out and playing their best game of the series. Lockdown defense and big-time rebounding. Now let's go get one in Indy. Let's fucking go Knicks. Rebounds. Haven't talked about the rebounds that much. 45-40 advantage Knicks. Obviously, that's an important statistic. 11-8 on the offensive glass, 34-32 on the glass overall. The biggest number for me, though, and it's a bit skewed because the Pacers took 29 free throws to the Knicks 22. But Knicks 89 shots on goal tonight. Pacers 74 shots on goal tonight. Between that and the Knicks shooting 49%, Pacers shooting 40%, the Knicks had 44 made field goals tonight. The Pacers only 30. That's the sort of math. That's the sort of math that's going to play. You got to win the possession battle, which, again, is tough when you're turning the ball over like you are. So stop that. And also, the offensive rebounding advantage hasn't been as big as I think a lot of us would have expected maybe it could be. So still things to work on, still things to improve upon, but you got the formula. You know what the formula is. Very simple. It's not a complicated formula. Don't turn the ball over. Get back in transition. Defend with aggression. And be smart on offense. Take smart shots on offense. That's it. It's uncomplicated. Uncomplicated. Thanks, Leon. Jessica Elsner, what's going on, Jessica? Should have gone for the head. Barney, probably. I see what you did there. Thanks, Jess. Appreciate you as always. I took the girls to the park earlier today and brought Mother Night with me. Really starting to enjoy that book a great deal and looking forward to continuing to report back when I am deeper into it. Thank you, Jess. Hush Zoo. Liability number 11. Can't play through number 11. Blow it up. Well, listen, that was all. I mean, you know, it's the playoffs. Fans get frustrated when they lose, and people say a lot of things. Look, there's some stuff that has value, and there's some stuff that just does not. So, thanks, Hush. Hush with another one. Truly feels like this was the first game Hallie has seen that type of pressure. What's done is done, but man, I wish we could have done that since game one. That's a fair comment. It's a fair comment. I think I would be the only caution I would exercise here is let's see how Haliburton does in game 6, assuming they keep the pressure high. Like the thing about Tyrese Haliburton, and this is true of all of the great point guards, or really all of the great players in our league. I sound like Stan Van Gundy in the league. Is if you show them the same thing multiple times, like they're going to figure it out pretty soon. So, you know, I think it's interesting that one, they dialed it up to this degree now, and two, the other part of it is this is not completely like game plan X's and O's related. This is, as Benji told you, this was Jalen Brunson taking it upon himself to be better. You know, this was Karl Anthony Towns taking it upon himself to be better. This was Mikal Bridges. Now, the Mikal part of it, maybe you want to tell me that's more of game plan. That's fair. But I also think this has to do probably with Mikal Bridges taking it upon himself a little bit to be better. So, again, players have agency. Would have been nice to see it from game one, I agree. See where we'd be right now. But then again, you shouldn't have lost game one. So, I don't know. Thanks, Hush. Alfie with another one. Thank you again, Alfie. Despite my criticism of JB post game 4, I honestly had forgotten it. Had no doubt in my mind he'd come out strong tonight. Glad he's on our team. And no, Becky Hammond was not right. Glad you correctified your previous stance here, Alfie. Thank you. Trying my best. What's going on? Trying my best. Thoughts on Hart with a -1 in 30-plus minutes in a game they won by 17. Either way, I love the content, and thanks, KFS. This goes 7. If this goes 7, it'll be epic. Yeah, I mean, my thoughts, we pretty much summed it up in the monologue. Hart was not good enough. These brain farts are inexplicable. His hesitation shooting around the basket is really detrimental to their effort. I think his defense, he set some real lowlights on defense in this series. Overall, I think his defense has been more positive than negative for sure. And he had some good defensive moments tonight. He also had a few not great defensive moments tonight. Again, to be clear. Was 30 minutes tonight, was it too much? Probably, but look, up until the beginning, up until game 4, before game 4, I think there was a world where you could have very easily argued that Josh Hart was the Knicks' either most consistent or second most consistent performer in the playoffs. Maybe third most. Somewhere. In top 3. Top 3. He had a really bad game 4. He had an uneven game 5. I'm going to trust Josh Hart to come out and play a really good game 6. Because I've seen him do it. And I know he's capable. Thanks, trying my best. Christopher Webb, what's going on, Chris? I figured out the Pacers' weakness. Traveling. Games 1, 3, and 5, they were not their best. Shame the Knicks only got one of those. They might be set to win in game 3 since Indy has to travel before every game. Set to win in 7 since Indy has to travel before every game. Well, so are the Knicks. Oh, I get it. Oh, I figured. Traveling. Like they don't. Oh, I got you. Okay. Like traveling. Okay. Hadn't thought of that. But you are wrong about one thing, which is that the Knicks got 2 of those games that you're mentioning. They got game 3 and game 5. And they should have got game 1. So I don't know, Chris. Maybe you got the formula there. We'll see. Thanks, Chris. Debo, what's going on, Debo? Great defensive effort tonight. Need to come out with the same intensity level in Indy. Get this series back to the Garden. Yeah, look, again, you could play the exact same way, and I promise you, as Benji did, Indy's going to be better. They're going to be better. They are. You have to withstand that punch, and then just as importantly as withstanding the punch, you have to maintain the defensive intensity, even if there are going to be moments where it doesn't pay off. Thanks, Debo. Sergio Esquivel, what's going on, Sergio? I don't want to overreact, but what kind of offseason moves do we need to make to repeat as NBA champs next season? That's my favorite fucking super chat of the postseason. That's incredible. Thank you, Sergio. I have no comment. I have no answer for you. Run it back. Jeff Guitars, isn't being down 3-1 the equivalent of being down 20 with 5 minutes left in the third? We had him right where we wanted him. What a weird, dumb, awesome team. Let's fucking go, Knicks. Shout out to Precious at the end of the third. Shout out to Precious at the end of the third. And also, hold on. Didn't Precious had did he have a moment somewhere else in this game? Am I imagining that? I might be imagining that. Well, whatever. Precious was good in his minutes. It is the equivalent. And it would be just like this team to come back from 3-1 down, or at the very least force a game 7 after being 3-1 down. Now, if we're keeping it a buck, it would probably be just like this team to force a game 7 and then lose that game 7, but we won't go there. Let's get there first, and then we'll talk about it. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate the contribution there. Robert W. Cross. Oh, I know Robert's happy tonight. First time, long time. It's your boy, John. It may seem counterintuitive, but I feel like the Knicks' success in Game 6 is extending the bench minutes. No, I don't think it's counterintuitive at all. I mean, a lot of statistics you could go to tonight, which are like kind of defining statistics. But how about this for one? The Knicks did not play a single player more than 36 minutes in this game. When has that happened in a playoff game at all? And you can't tell me it's because of the blowout completely, because Tibbs didn't take the starters out until there were under 2 minutes in the game. So even if you want to tack on another 2 minutes, you're still reasonable. Look, Cat 36, OG 34, McCall 34, Brunson 34, Hart 34, Robinson 20, McBride 18, Shamet 14, Wright 10, Achua 6. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Thanks, Robert. Z Raheem, what's going on? Z. Hart's turnovers almost single-handedly blew that lead. Look, they won the game by 17 points. You know, they won the game by 17 points. And Hart didn't have, 7 turnovers, didn't have 6 turnovers, didn't even have 5 turnovers. Yeah, he had 3. Were all 3 bad? Yeah, all 3 were bad. In the moment, they felt like they were worth 10 points each. Truly. It wasn't a great game from Josh Hart, and it came right after a bad game from Josh Hart. What we will not be doing, not on this program at least, sure, there's other programs out there who will do it, we are not going to be turning on Josh Hart. Not after everything he has done, not after everything he has meant. And I'm not saying that's what you're doing, Z. It's not. But I just want to say as a statement, of course, matter of course, after everything that Josh Hart has done and meant to this team and this franchise, look, every bad game in the playoffs stands out. But again, this is a guy that up until very recently had been one of, if not your most consistent playoff performer. He's had a rough few games. I trust he will play well on Saturday. Thanks, Z. Dom with another one. Thank you, Mr. Cappuccini. Charles just asked Kat, why do you do all those dumb fouls? LOL. I'm going to pretend that this will be Towns' epiphany. Hall of Famer calling him out on national TV to his face, and that'll be the difference. I have my phone on Do Not Disturb. So I have no idea if let me see if I could pull it up here. Also, my phone's acting finicky. Let's see. Don't really see it. I mean, they're saying all the right things. Yeah. I don't know. Chris Presianen had a good question for Tom Thibodeau about limiting the live ball turnovers. And apparently the fix is simple. So I don't know. I can't find the Cat or Charles thing, but it seems like, called him out, and hopefully that does the trick. We'll see. Okay, next up. Oh, here we go. Chuck, why you been? Sorry, I'll get to Michael's in a second. Chuck, why you been getting them dumb fouls? Shaq was going to ask the same question. Cat, God only knows you ain't wrong. Shout out Bench holding it down when I make these mistakes. I got to fix that. Ernie, Carl, good to see you. Cat, yes, sir. Jersey in the chat. Shaq, you know it. Okay. There we go. That's good. That's good. I like that. I'll take that. Michael Davidson, what's going on, Michael? If they win Game 7, Brunson should pretend to be choking on food, and Hart should come behind him and perform the Heimlich maneuver. One step at a time. Let's win game. As Jalen Brunson said, let's win Game 6 first, and then go from there. Thank you, Michael. Kento Cato, what's going on, Kento? Defensive intensity, cohesion, much better. Yes. 20 turnovers. Yes. Indiana's 20 turnovers. Yes. Brunson Towns offensive dominance. Yes. Mitch, DeLon, Landry, great energy. Yes. 17-point win despite shooting 27% from 3. Yes. And then last but not least, 1-0 when Precious plays more than 2 minutes. That's the key. Now, the biggest one for me there, for me personally, 17-point win despite shooting 27% from 3, which means that you won this game with defense. That's what that means. Because if you were trying to go shot for shot, you wouldn't have won the game. You won the game with defense. Thanks, Kento. Despite Brunson's brilliance and Cat to a lesser extent. Dan Hidalgo with another one. Hot take. The pressure is all on the Sirs now. I fucking hate that stupid slogan. I hate everything about that franchise. I hate Tyrese Haliburton. I hate everybody on their roster. I hate the color of their jerseys. I hate the stupid slogan. I hate their fans. I hate their city. Love Caitlin Cooper. Wish she would write about the Knicks and comment about the Knicks. Hate everything else about him. That's it. Just awful. Thanks, Dan. Kevin Danishevsky. Yeah, maybe Becky Hammond is still wrong. 2 more. There you go. Thanks, Kev. Kev, who was unsure, I don't mean to call you out, Kev, unsure about whether he wanted the Knicks to win this game at halftime, because Kev is hankering for some changes this offseason. Doesn't want to put those at risk. Well, I hope you're happy, Kev. Danger zone, the single most thing we need in order to win out. Oh, just replicate the defensive intensity. Replicate the aggression. Just smart aggression. Smart aggression and communication. Because here's the thing. If you have the aggression, but you have the aggression without the communication, and it's just aggression without communication, you're fucked. You need the communication with the aggression, because without the communication, you're going to get in the blender, because the Pacers are going to figure out a way. They're going to find the hole. They're going to find the hole. They always find the hole. That came out wrong. Yeah, but now I'm thrown for a loop. That's it. That's all it is. Continue to be aggressive. Continue to, push the issue and just be smart. Limit the turnovers. Again, these turnovers are just, they feel backbreaking in the moment. And then ideally, your role players make some shots, which they haven't really done in this series. Thanks, Danger Zone. Duran Visual Variant. What's going on, Duran? I bet on our boys today, and they didn't let me down. Putting it all on Indy on Saturday. If Indy wins, I get money. The Knicks win, I paid for Game 7, where anything could happen. You know what? I'm here for that. I know a lot of people will give you shit probably for it. I'm here for it. Thank you, Duran. Kanyan Pepper, what's going on, Kanyan? The Knicks, Indy mailed this one in, so we have to make him pay on Saturday. We have to wipe that dumb smile off Reggie's face. I don't know that Indy mailed this one in. I thought the Pacers, when they made that push towards the end of the first quarter, I'm like, oh boy, this is not going to be easy. They made a push at the end of the first quarter. They made a push at the end of the second quarter. They made a big push in the middle of the third quarter. And they even were trying to make a push there in the fourth quarter. They got it down to 12 points. They made a 9-1 run. They made 4 legitimate pushes in this game. They were like a woman giving birth. And Thankfully, I don't know how I'm going to land this plane. We kept that baby right there in the uterine canal where it belongs. Where hopefully it could stay for another couple of games. Although that would be, man, that'd be a long childbirth process. Wouldn't wish that on anybody, except Indiana, because fuck them. Thank you, Kanyan. That went great. Greg Film Stuff. What's going on, Greg? Not dead yet. No. Best defense the Knicks have played on the perimeter in this series. Great defense on Tyrese and great energy from Shamet. Best Hart game, and I want to see him be a little bit more aggressive getting to the rim one more game. I don't know what you mean by when you say best Hart game, because I did not think this was anywhere close to his best game. He did some nice things, though. He needs to be much better. Everything else you said, I completely agree with. In terms of the best defense the Knicks have played on the perimeter in this series, I'm trying to think if the Knicks have played better defense in a game in the postseason. I mean, you gave up 90 to Boston in game 2, and you gave up 81 to Boston in game 6. Game 6 was that was just its own entity. I don't know that it's fair to compare this game to that game. I think this was the best defense they've played in the postseason. Considering the opponent, considering what they were up against, considering what was on the line, I think this was the best defense the Knicks played in the postseason. Thanks, Greg. Zach G, what's going on, Zach? We have a game on Saturday. We haven't had a game this close to June. Zach, I was thinking about this exact thing, and I didn't want to say it before because, again, we're all about if we get to game 7, we got to win game 7. If they just win on Saturday and get it to a game 7, it'll be June basketball for the New York Knicks, which, shit, man. Sign me the F up. But yes, haven't been this close to a June game since 99. Let's stop shitting on these guys and this coach. Hey, is that allowed here on the post game? Suggesting that we should stop shitting on the coach and players? Are we allowed to do that? I don't know. I gotta check with the rule book on that one. I gotta get a rules official out here. Anyway, 4 years ago we had Elfrid Payton running point. 1 win, and we have a game 7 at the Garden. Be thankful. Well, Zach, those are wise words, for sure. But look, coaches, players, front office, you're only as popular as your last win. So I could promise you this: if the Knicks go out there on Saturday and they lose, no matter why they lose, no matter how they lose, there'll be a lot of very critical people. That's just the nature of the business. It is what it is. Thanks, Zach. Hush Zoo, what's going on, Hush? My biggest fear of Game 6 is Tibbs. Of course, yes, of course. Hush, without even reading the rest of this comment, I love it that of all the fear, Haliburton having a great game, Siakam having a great game, Pacers role players hitting threes, Knicks going cold, Brunson turning an ankle like Cat, morphing into the version of Cat that we've seen. No. My biggest fear of Game 6 is that Tibbs is such a heart addict, he won't go to Mitch at all after his stint in the third. Like in Games 4 and Game 5, he's so volatile, I don't know how to feel. How about you feel this way? How about you feel like Josh Hart has been an invaluable contributor to your roster and to winning basketball for the better part of 2.5 years. And that maybe we shouldn't take what we've seen over 2 games. By the way, this game was not atrocious from Hart. It was a subpar game. It was below his standards. It was a frustrating game. It's not a terrible game. How about you consider more than just the last couple of games? And you consider the sum total of the 200 some odd games he has played before these 2 games, including many games in this postseason, many games in last postseason, where he was the biggest contributor to the fact that he won basketball games against some good teams. As far as going back to Mitch, we saw the Hack-a-Mitch strategy. I did not want Mitchell Robinson back in the game in the fourth quarter because I did not want them to employ the Hack-a-Mitch thing. I mean, I guess you could tell me, all right, put Mitch in, see if they do the Hack-a-Mitch, draw some fouls and get in the penalty early. That's fair. It's, but like, I don't know. I'll just say that Tibbs is not the only one who's going to go down on the Hart ship. I'm happy to go down on the Hart ship as well. Guy seems to come up big in a lot of big moments. Game 4 was not his night. Should not have played as many minutes as he did. Tonight, he kind of he helped you out a lot in the fourth quarter. I know that. So, I'm willing to give him long leash for game 5. And for the record, my biggest fear in game 6, I'm willing to give him a long leash for game 6. For the record, my biggest fear for game 6 has nothing to do with the coach or Josh Hart. Thanks, Hush. Rafa, insane how much of a game wrecker Mitch is. Let's freaking go Knicks. Yeah, he's really good. Big Nick Energy, thanks for the contribution. Appreciate you. Sam Garcia's dad, what's up, Ray? The Knicks said not tonight, and I couldn't be happier. Thank you to the coach and the players, especially JB, Kat, Shamit, and wait for it, Precious Achua. Yeah. Big time players coming up with big time moments tonight. And one thing I want to be clear about, we talked about the wings before. OG, poor shooting night from outside. We've talked about Josh Hart. It was not Josh Hart's best game. He has to be better. OG has to be better, again, on the offensive end at least. Mikal Bridges had a good game. He really did. And whatever it was, his final stat line, 6 of 12 for 12 points. It is, oh my God, what a classic Mikal Bridges stat line. It's not going to jump out at you, but 6 of 12, 12 points, 5 assists, 1 turnover. He had a key offensive rebound. He had a steal. This was a really nice Mikal Bridges game. Would I like him to hit a 3? Yeah, I'd like him to hit a 3, but it's a nice Mikal Bridges game. They needed it, and I thought he between the defense and the offense, I thought he came up big enough tonight. Thanks, Ray. Appreciate you. Okay. So from Aunt Rich, thank you so much, Aunt Rich. Appreciate the very, 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 very generous contributions because I know you got a couple of super chats here. Haliburton is a different player when he doesn't get that head start with steam going downhill. We need to pick him up as quickly as possible moving forward. Well, that's what they did tonight, and there's no reason they shouldn't do it in game 6. Completely, again, there's safe and responsible defensive coverage, and then there is, oh shit, we gotta we can't let this guy get comfortable because if he gets comfortable, it almost doesn't matter what else we're doing elsewhere defensively on the floor. If this guy gets comfortable, he will find a way to beat us. You can't let him get comfortable. That's it. That's all there is to it. This isn't you gotta get down and dirty here. You gotta get down and dirty. This is not safety first. It's gotta be a little raw dogging going on here with the coverage of Haliburton. and got to feel that. Got to make him feel the motion of the ocean. That's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to. Another one from Ant. Love Hart, but these silly turnovers have to stop, especially when he's trying to thread the needle into Cat. It's unnecessary. He dominates down low. Just get the ball to him. Yes, get the ball to him, but also make sure he's not getting a double coming across, and his teammates have to help him identify those when they come. Completely agree. The turnovers have to stop. Thank you very much, Ant. Very generous contributions for you tonight. Appreciate you. Below, what's going on below? Most complete team win in this series. Most complete team win in this series. Yes. I hope Tibbs doesn't revert to old habits. The rotations were on point. Keep this up, and we have a shot. Let's freaking go, Knicks. No, I think Tibbs has shown you exactly what you need to see, what you wanted to see. He's going into the bench because he knows his guys need to stay fresh. He knows everybody. First of all, the guys that he's bringing in are playing well. Second of all, by extending their minutes a little bit, it keeps the other guys fresh, and it allows them the energy they need to play that more aggressive style of defense, which, again, they're going to need to play in Game 6. Shit, I wouldn't be surprised in Game 6 if he went even more to his bench. When he took Brunson out with 2 minutes to go in the first quarter, I was shocked that he took Brunson out in that situation. And you know what? It paid off, and he survived. So let's do it again. Thanks, Bilo. Jason Kirsch, this team would come back and win the series in 7. Is this the same guy that wanted to get Josh Hart and Tom Thibodeau out of here? Just asking questions. Thanks, Jason. Phrase Vader, what's going on? Phrase, I wish in real life at work, Claudio could just split screen in and out of nowhere and give my boss a random Knicks fact. GMAC is very talented. I don't know if he has those capabilities, though. Way to hang in there, coach, and way to hang in there, team. Let's fucking go Knicks on to Game 6. We come in, Hallie, you prick. He is a prick. But he's a really good prick, and he is a superstar. And if he was on our team, we would absolutely love him. I don't know how much we'd love him tonight. I don't know. Are there any Pacer live streams? If there are, I'd be curious if Haliburton's getting shit tonight. That would make me happy if Haliburton was getting shit tonight from Pacer fans. I mean, he shouldn't. He wasn't great tonight, but you can't give that guy shit. He's awesome. Thanks, Phrase. Mecky with another one. Thank you, Mecky. Really incredibly generous of you, man. Thank you. Besides our 3-point shooting, what can we do better? Well, they didn't cut the lead under double digits. It still felt close, you think? Seems like they played a horrible game. For us, turnovers, 3-point shooting, limit Siakam, and transition. I don't think they played a horrible game. I really don't. I don't. I don't think they played a horrible game. I thought for most of the game they hit threes. Their role players, I thought, for the most part, their bench players at least, I thought their bench players were really good. I mean, we saw a few statistics throughout the game about how their bench was doing all this scoring. Yeah, did their starters struggle from the field? Sure. But I really do believe that the Knicks defense had a lot to do with how the Pacers looked. So to say that they played a horrible game, I can't. You know who didn't play a horrible game? Pascal Siakam didn't play a horrible game. What did that dude finish with? I mean, 15 points on 13 shots, 5 of 13. Okay, maybe that's maybe not awful, maybe not awesome, but it wasn't awful either. I don't know. I genuinely believe the Knicks defense had a lot to do with this. What can we do better? Turnovers, number 1 with a bullet. Making threes. Actually, maybe that is number 1 with a bullet. They're both 1 and 1A. Make your shots, make your open shots, and don't commit turnovers. That's it. That's the whole thing. Because if you don't turn the ball over, the transition defense all of a sudden, their transition defense has been fine for the most part. in this series when yeah, they've had some instances where they take the ball out of the basket and still get up court and get a good look. To me, if it wasn't for the turnovers, I don't think we'd be complaining about the transition defense. It's the turnovers. The turnovers are what's killing them. Clean those up. Make your open shots. If Siakam's going to do what he could do, let him. That's not, And then most importantly, this is one with a bullet. More in the turnovers, more in 3-point shooting. You just got to defend like you defended tonight, and in particular, Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns, and to a slightly lesser extent, Mikal Bridges, because he was better tonight than he had been. Thank you, Mecky. Appreciate that. Duncan Mitchell, what's going on, Duncan? Just like that, they have me believing again. Of course they do. I don't know if my heart can take a game 7. Oh, well, it would be worth it. Knicks in 7. Let's get there, man. Please. We've come this far. Go win another game. And then see what happens. Thanks, Duncan. Angel or Angel Mercedes, what's going on? Hart has to look at the rim. Yes. Also, Mikal has to go at Hallie in the post. Yes, and more than that, like, would it kill you to not fade away one of these times? Once or twice? Just throwing that out there. If you got a weaker defender on you. Variance is in Mikal's favor in terms of impact. Variance is yeah, maybe. Bradley probably out next game. Yeah, that maybe. Hip flexor injuries don't heal quick. More Thomas Bryant minutes. I just realized both of their backup centers have the same initials. Thomas Bryant, Tony Bradley. What are the odds? Yeah, will that help? I hope so. I mean, they went to, or they have gone to Obi at the 5 occasionally. That's one of those things that could be a gift or it could be a curse. What do the Knicks do with it? Can they defend it and can they attack it? Those are the two questions, but we'll probably get a lot of Thomas Bryant. So we'll see. Thanks, Angel. Richie C. We got some bounces tonight. Yes, we did. We also hit some timely hoops. No guarantee of that on Saturday. Only thing they need to guarantee is the defense and the energy like tonight. We haven't seen it 2 games in a row. Did they get some bounces tonight? I don't know. I'll take your word for it, Richie. I didn't really see anything crazy one way or the other. Timely hoops, yeah. But you know who hit the vast majority of their timely hoops tonight? Not all of them, but the vast majority? Jalen Brunson. You know who I am counting on to hit timely hoops on Saturday night? Jalen Brunson. So I think they got a good shot, but I completely agree with you. It comes down to the defense. Thanks, Richie. You're proud of our defense from the jump. There's no reason we can't have that same intensity in game 6. But was this just the Jekyll to this team's Hyde? Well, you know what? Again, fool me once, shame on me. No, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. We've been fooled many times this postseason into thinking this Knicks team had whatever you want to say, figured it out, flipped the switch, eliminated the silliness. And they always seem to have a little bit more where that came from. I can't sit here and tell you what we're going to get game 6. Am I going to sit here and be shocked if the Knicks are somewhat unserious in some key aspect of the game? No. Would I be shocked if they played their best game of the season? No. Nothing. Which we talked about it on the Betting and Sweating pregame show. Nothing should shock us. Can shock us at this point from this team. Thanks, Yer. Also from Yer. Also, John, you helped me out 5 years ago when I sent you a DM asking for teaching advice. Thanks for your support back then. I'm still going strong, making Knicks fans in Texas one student at a time. Oh, man. That makes me so happy. The world needs good teachers. God knows I'm not one. It is such an honorable profession. It is such a difficult profession to do really well as students deserve. But I'm always here to give advice about it because I've been in every aspect of the teaching profession and I've seen it. I've been a first-year teacher. I'm a 10th-year teacher. But happy to hear you're still fighting the good fight, and it is a fight. I don't care what school you're in. I don't care what grade you teach. It's a fight, and you got to fight the good fight, and you got to maintain it. It's like sports. You're not defined by your days where everything's going in and everything's flowing, and it looks like it's coming easy. You're defined by your days where it's hard. And so if you're doing that, man, that's awesome. Great to hear. Thanks so much for sharing that story. Appreciate that. Yatan Justice, I hope I got that right. From New Jersey, live in LA. Oh, that's awesome. I'm jealous. I want the Knicks to win, but I noticed that Haliburton and Nesmith only had 11 points. My concern is how to contain those two for another 2 games. What plan does Carlisle have? I mean, get off the ball and trust that you're going to get it back. Just more passing, more ball movement, more body movement. Nesmith, I'm not concerned with containing Aaron Nesmith. I'm not concerned with containing Andrew Nembhard. I'm not concerned with containing Miles Turner. These guys, if you defend up to your capabilities, they'll hit some shots, but those are not the guys who are going to beat you. Tyrese Haliburton is the guy who puts you in your grave. And you got to maintain the aggression, but also not. It has to be smart, and that's a really difficult line to toe. It's a difficult tightrope to toe or to walk. You did it tonight. You were aggressive, but you didn't abandon everything else to be aggressive against Haliburton. You got to do both. You got to be smart and also aggressive. It's hard. They did it tonight. They did something that was hard. Can you do it again? Ideally, 2 more times. We'll see. Thanks, Yatone. OG team, Knicks win. Knicks need to win this series. I'm not trying to watch Hallie score 9 points a game versus Oklahoma City's perimeter players. No screens will help him, and he can't go left. Yeah, look. There's two scenarios that could unfold if the Pacers make the finals. Neither of them good. Either the Pacers look like shit and Haliburton looks like shit and Oklahoma City dominates them and we're like, Jesus Christ, this is the team that beat us to go to the finals, or the freaking Pacers win the championship and then we'll all be, looking for tall buildings to walk off of. Neither is good. Thanks, OG team. 2J Heller. What's going on, 2J Heller? Let's go. John from Newsletter. Shout out to all the newsletters. Shout out to Substack. Keep the defense up. We are better than them. Focus, intensity. Let the boys cook. We can do this. withstand the expected storm on Saturday. Let's go, Knicks. I mean, you said everything. I don't have anything to add. Like, yes, keep the defense up. I do think we're better than them. I do think the two words you said, focus and intensity. That's it. Because execution falls under the umbrella of focus. Defense, the type of defense they need to play, falls under the umbrella of intensity. I love it. I love it. Completely agree. Yes, 100%. Jack Corcoran. What's going on, Jack? With Bridges, how does someone with his wingspan have such low confidence around the rim? Every missed jumper that could have been a layup drives me crazy. Well, here's the thing, Jack. Here's the thing. We've seen him go to the rim several times, and he seems to get blocked at the rim every time because he does not go up strong around the rim. I would like him to, again, seek contact. It's a novel concept. He does not seem to do it. I don't know if it's a comfort thing. I don't know what it is, but it has made him an extremely frustrating player for me to watch, but one who I'm trying very hard to be fair, because ultimately he needs to be judged on his merits and not like he needs to be judged on his merits. And I'm really trying not to hold his way of going about offense against him, especially when we were praising the hell out of it, that same approach against the Celtics like 10 days ago or whatever it was, 2 weeks ago. Thanks, Jack. Oh, it's Baton, not okay. Not Yeta. Okay. Baton. Sorry, yes, Yatan. Yatan Justice. I got it now. Okay. No, Jay? Wait, hold on. Oh, Jay. Jatan. But then you said, why did you say it's Jatan? Okay. Anyway, Jatan Justice. I got it right now. Sean with a W. The Landry Shamet game and Obi Toppin in a spliff. I know what that means now. I'll just leave it at that. Thank you, Sean. Michael Bildrici. Thank you, KFS. Josh Hart giveth, Josh Hart taketh. Missing Clyde. JB Magical first to give us early double-digit lead. And don't forget about the third quarter, which was even more important. Team-wide series focus on defense. Mitch sequences keep momentum. Shamet stays ready. Game 6. You got everything in there. You got everything in there. Thanks, Michael. Ahmad Khalil, thank you for the generosity. Ahmad was in Indy for Game 6. Was there tonight. Or excuse me, was in Indy for Game 4. Was there tonight. The key in Game 6 is playing with borderline flagrant foul intensity on defense. Shamet, Wright, and Deuce minutes key. Starters just need to play their normal. Let's go Knicks. Here's the thing, Ahmad, and I don't disagree with you, but like one thing that I did not love tonight, and I have not loved at other points in this series, is a seeming parade to the line from the Pacers. So the Pacers took 29 free throws tonight. In this series, hold on, let me pull this up. I just had it up and now I closed it. Before tonight, 32 free throws, 33 free throws, 21 free throws, and 28 free throws. The Pacers are taking entirely too many free throws for my liking. But again, I agree with you. Hey, look at it this way. If the Pacers are at the line, the Knicks are out of the blender. As long as you don't foul them on threes, you're limiting them to 2. Look, I just don't think you want to put them on the line as much as you have been in this series. I think the Pacers One thing I am curious about, I'm looking it up right now. Interestingly enough, the Pacers this season kind of have a middle of the road record when they take a lot of free throws. I'm looking at it right now. In the regular season, in games where they shot at least 27 free throws, they were 9-9. If you look at their free throw rate this season, regular season, not much better. They actually, you look at their regular season, they actually do better when they don't shoot a ton of free throws. So, you know what, Ahmad? The fuck do I know? Amen to your plan. Foul him every goddamn time. And maybe that's for the best. Thanks, Ahmad. CJ, what's going on, CJ? Because you're right. Oh, okay. Great job, Tibbs. He deserves this just as much as the players do. Can't believe how far we've come since Fizdale. Knicks in 7. Well, CJ, I appreciate that. Has nothing to do with me, but it's nice for the coach to get a little love there. Thank you, CJ. I appreciate that. Rafa, play the bench and good things happen, Tom. The Knicks in 7. Is that credit for the coach? I can't tell. Feels like criticism. Should be weird because they won. Thanks, Rafa. El Coriano 11. 1 minute to go in game 6. Score tied. Who are you running out there with the season on the line? Score tied. Do we have the ball? I'll play the starters. The season-long starters. Hart, Brunson, Bridges, OG, Cat. Why not? Dance with who brung you. Paul McFairline. What's going on, Paul? If I told you the Knicks shot 27.6% from 3, 68.2% from the line, and had 15 turnovers, you probably assume the Knicks lost by 17. Yes. And it's a great point. It's a point that I've tried to make in different ways tonight, although I didn't highlight the 68% from the line. That's a good call by you. And thank you, Brunson, for saving the games. The lead was cut to 10 in the third. Yes. It was the most important stretch of his game tonight and one of the most important stretches he's had in the postseason. Thanks, Paul. Pietro, if the defense is at this level, Knicks in 7. Spike is back. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Shout out to Spike. Yeah, if they defend at this level, then yeah, the Knicks are going to win the series. But can they do that? We'll see. Brendan Cooney. What's going on, Brendan? Hey, John, Pacers will adjust, which makes winning 3 straight so hard. Yeah, of course. Every team adjusts. How do we anticipate their game 6 adjustments? Tibbs must be 2 moves ahead to win. I don't know, man. Their game 6 adjustments, maybe Haliburton getting off the ball faster. Now that he knows what's going to be coming. Maybe, getting Haliburton, trying to get him involved in some off-ball actions to not initiate, but he gets the ball back later in the possession. Maybe that's it. Maybe putting a little bit more playmaking responsibility in Nembhard's hands. Yeah, that would be my guess. Haliburton getting off the ball early and then getting the ball back later in the possession. That would be my guess. I think that's it. Hey, we're done. Under 3 hours. I won't mind maybe getting more than 3 hours of sleep tonight. Why not? Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to the Knicks Film School Postgame Show presented by our wonderful, amazing, talented, spectacular friends at Fanatics Sportsbook. If you dig what we are doing here, subscribe to subscribe to everything that we do. I blew up Andrew's spot earlier because I stomped all over his what he was saying. I forget what line he was trying to make, but the gist is that we are very close to 30,000 YouTube subscribers. So if there's anyone out there that is watching this video that is not a subscriber to the Knicks Film School YouTube channel, subscribe. Help us get to 30,000 subs. 30,000 subs, man. That's insane. But we're almost there. So help us get there. If you dig the podcast, you know what to do there. Leave a review or a rating or whatever it is that you do with podcasts. And what else? I'm going on with DJ tomorrow, with DJ tomorrow to record a Patreon pod. Shout out to the Knicks Film School Patreon. Go subscribe there. I may be making a guest appearance on another Patreon pod tomorrow from one Fred Katz. So if you're a Cats and Shoes subscriber, you could check me out on there as well. Post-game, Game 6. Look out for more content. I mean, God knows what else we have in the works. We will continue to cover this team from all angles for as long as they are playing basketball, and then even after they are done playing basketball. Okay. Thanks to Kevin for tonight. Thanks for GMAC. Thanks to Benjy Ritholtz. And thank you for checking out another Knicks Film School post game. We'll be back with more fun and games before you know it. Peace out.